I know.
Here we are.
It's been a week.
It's been a week since we've been together. And I feel like a week in our life is like a week in a dog's life, because you know how dogs, when they every year is 7 years. I feel like, I don't know what that is when you bring it down to a week. It feels like it's been several weeks since we've seen each other. Was that too much acting? Was that too much Kyle for you?
Yeah, it was a little too Kyle. It was a little too Dorit. Guys, we had a problem with the board and our media file that we're recording to, so we had to stop in the middle of the recording, aka 30 seconds in, of course, naturally, for the both of us, because we can't get anything together. And I was like, okay, Betsy, now you just pick it up from this line, because I was interrupting you when we were rounding out that line when we stopped earlier, and we just got a message and a review saying you talk over each other and it's annoying. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be talking over you, so can you just pick up that line one more time and just say, and then she picks it up, and then
Well, that's what I just watched Beverly Hills, so I had to go actor with it. But yeah, too much inflection, I guess.
you're an actor.
Actor, a thespian.
I know. But it does. It feels like, so you're saying our relationship is in dog years.
I'm just saying that we see each other multiple times a week. So when we don't see each other for a week, it feels like multiple weeks. Like how it does in dog lives, or dog years, I guess.
That's what I just said.
I know, but I'm not comparing our relationship to a dog's,
No,
lifespan.
Of course not. I just mean it just happens exponentially.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, we can talk about this for minutes. Hours. It's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's been a whole week since we've seen each other.
We're going to talk about it for a week.
We're reminiscing.
Yeah. We missed each other.
Like Kyle and Teddy did on Watch What Happens
Oh,
Live.
God, gag.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. Do I understand why Teddy was with Kyle?
No.
I can, but at the same time, we don't need, I don't know.
First of all, that must have been in Kyle's contract. It must have been something, because guys, not only do we not want to see Teddy there at all, Teddy's not advertising anything. She has nothing new coming out. We already know about the fucking podcast. There's nothing new happening in Teddy's life. Teddy's not promoting anything. She is literally there to be Kyle's
soldier.
Yes. When Kyle doesn't want to talk, Teddy has to tap in, which she did a couple times in this episode. So I think Teddy was there because, well, first of all, Teddy's not going to turn down the invitation, but Teddy's there because Kyle wanted her to be there. Let's make no mistake about it. And, this is going to be unpopular for you, and I don't give a fuck. Kyle doesn't need to be there by herself. I'm not saying that Kyle's not an MG, she's not an icon in the Housewives. She is what she is. But because of what is going on with her now personally, she does not want to be there by herself, and you know that.
I know.
So she has to bring her.
I'm not saying that I
puppet
would want Kyle by herself, but I'm saying that could have been a choice. Like, that could have been an option.
I know, but she didn't want that. Because there were a few times that Kyle got a little bit tongue-tied, and Teddy goes, my turn.
I got it.
My turn.
Okay, let me explain it. I got it. I can articulate this.
Kyle's perfect.
I am an accountability coach. I can.
She's accountable.
I can articulate it.
Yeah.
I do not lie, and never once will you ever hear me telling a lie.
Except for that one time you caught me. But then I said, accountable, I lied. I'm sorry. Never again.
She really was chiming in hard.
She had so many planned answers.
I'll explain your relationship for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Broken, but successful. They love each other, but hard times. Shut the fuck up, Teddy.
Wasn't it giving that night where they go to see Boy George? I think this is season.
Oh, it's Reed's first season, isn't it? Or second season? No.
It's Denise's first season.
Oh my God, maybe that's what I meant.
Okay,
so
it
is because the camping.
Exactly. So Boy George is in every season.
Yes,
because that's a little flex that PK likes to
Boy
puff out.
George.
He's like,
That's the only thing he has.
Exactly. They live in like an $8 million house. What is he making all of his royalties from Boy George?
And the robberies.
Stop. Remember. I have to get to that in a second. Let me get to that in a second. But it's when they all go to see Boy George.
Yes.
This is where the Lisa Vanderpump, PK, Dorit conflict and with Kyle.
Yes.
And, PK is like, well, if you were a good friend, And then when they go to talk about it by the bus, Teddy, let me just have 2 minutes with Kyle.
Yeah. You don't understand English humor. It's humor. It's English. It's London humor.
But it was very that.
God. I just can't. And you could just tell that Andy does not like her either. Andy probably doesn't like a handful of these women, but sometimes he does a better job of hiding it. Teddy had so many canned answers because you know that she was gonna do some round robin of like, tell me what you think about all the seasons and what was going on, and she had all these like very sharp like, oh well, I'm gonna tell you this because of that, and you could just tell that Andy was like, kind of like rolling his eyes. He didn't want her to be there. The only one that wanted her there, I guess, was Teddy. And then Kyle was kind of happy at some points because Kyle could not get through.
I know, she's struggling. She's hurt.
Struggle bus.
She's hurt seeing the picture of
Hand
Mauricio.
holding.
Holding.
Emma. Dude, I'm a fan of Emma big time. I really like her. And I remember, I'm a new watcher of Dancing with the Stars, but I do really like her.
It's only been on for 20 years.
I know, but I've only been watching it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, did you see the picture?
Yes, I did.
What do you think? Do you think they're actually holding hands? Some people think that they're not holding hands. Some people think
No, I
they
think
are
they're
holding
holding
hands.
hands.
Okay.
But I don't know that I think too much of it. That's what I'll say.
Did you find it odd that Kyle said she was hurt?
No.
Oh.
It's a moment for Kyle. And
Well,
Kyle
see,
will have the moment.
I found myself being a little surprised only because we hadn't received confirmation yet whether or not Kyle is dating Morgan Wade. Not that
They're friends.
they're friends.
Okay? She has tattoos.
So
If Morgan Wade didn't have tattoos, it would just be like any other friend Kyle has. Nobody would say anything. Look, there's Kyle with one of her friends, Teddy. Teddy has no tattoos. They're not lesbians. Other than that one time they thought they were lesbians.
yeah, they sleep in the same bed.
Therapy
Like, you go to therapy together? Lesbian.
Y'all, I totally forgot. I had to, because, Lauren is the brain and the memory of everyone. I was like, wait. Because Kyle straight up said on Watch What Happens Live that, like, oh, well, they're only saying that Morgan Wade and I are, like, together because of Morgan Wade's tattoos, which is a whole other fucking story. That's so, I don't even know what to say about that.
She was like, I don't, it's weird. I don't know why. Like,
That's, I don't, but then she's like, well, actually, if Morgan Wade didn't have tattoos, then they wouldn't be talking. Well, actually, never mind, because they did that with That's Teddy. And I had to ask Lauren, I was like, wait. They speculated once upon a time that she and Teddy were like in a relationship. And then Lauren had to remind me of that season when they were at the reunion and they talked about going to therapy together.
Yeah.
And then Dorit was like, y'all sleep in the same bed together?
By the way, it's the same season that Teddy is Kyle's soldier for Dorit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
It's when they become closer.
Well, you were gonna
Teddy's upper
say
butt, they
you were
said.
gonna say that you were surprised that Kyle was hurt because
Oh,
of seeing the hand holding.
Well, here's the thing. I've never been somebody who like unequivocally is like, yes, Morgan Wade and Kyle. I think when we first heard about this, I was very clear saying, just because we hang out with lesbians or gay people, it doesn't necessarily make us gay. But I understand the perception and why.
Sure.
So I was of two minds where I was thinking, yeah, it could be, but I wasn't
And they
necessarily.
were family. I'm never gonna let you live that down.
Don't let me live it down. Okay. I was just trying to speculate because they were spending a lot of time together and it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Not because you can't have friends, but just given how they met and whatever.
Sure.
So I kind of always lived and straddled where I was like, I mean, they could be, but I don't necessarily think that they are. And I'm teasing it because they are wearing the same clothes and they look like. But the same thing happened with Teddy and Kyle. Teddy also dyed her hair. She cut it the next season.
Single white female.
From
and they have
Teddy's-
the same walk.
From Teddy's first season to her second season, the season that we were just talking about. God, we're really going back there.
Yeah.
She cuts her hair short like Kyle. So there was this, do you remember that?
There's an energy. There's an energy.
There's an energy.
Well, no, I didn't, because Teddy is so forgettable to me that I forget most things. but no joke, when you brought up like the therapy stuff, it took me right back there. I was like, oh, I do remember that very vividly now.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was confused why she was hurt, not because she can't be hurt, but because I feel like the demise of their relationship and where they are now with being separated has been going on for a little while. I think we kind of see a little bit of that in this episode, but I think I was just kind of confused because it feels like they've been separated for a long time, and I wasn't sure if she's dating anybody. Is she dating Morgan? She seems to have a whole life. They're friends, but she seems to have this like life, right? That she feels very just out there. She's doing her thing.
She's free.
And, yeah, so I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
And I figured that she was the one that kind of prompted the divorce, and she says that.
She does say that. Yeah. She admits that. To me, it's just an opportunity for Kyle to do the woe is me, which is what Kyle does best. Woe is me. I saw him holding hands. I was surprised. I was hurt. Well, Andy, what could that mean? I mean, I don't know what to take from. What could that mean, Andy? Okay, let's reel it in and relax, because Andy's like, well, what do you think that meant? Andy, I mean, what do you think that can mean, Andy? I mean, she was kind of all over the place, and she was having a hard time. And I will say, when I first like saw clips of this Watch What Happens Live, I thought, okay, here's Kyle acting, and I still think there's a little bit of acting there. I mean, not good acting, but a little bit of acting because she's an actor. But then when I watched the episode in full, I was like, I've never seen Kyle like this in the sense of her being so physically uncomfortable. She looked out of her skin. She was fumbling over her words. She looked nervous as fuck. And she knew, Kyle's been doing this a long time. She knew that there were going to be a round robin of questions that were all going to be about the separation.
I love how
and
you keep
everything.
calling it a round robin.
It's the terminology. She just seemed
I
seemed
know.
out of it. You know what I mean? And I think that's honestly one of the reasons that she probably wanted Teddy to be there. Right?
I would assume so. I think it would make her
She
feel a
offers
little bit more
nothing.
comfortable. Well, here's the thing.
And she's a cheerleader.
And there's so much that's happened since they finished filming the show that I think being there by herself, I think she's
It's
a
too
little
much.
It's too uncomfortable. All the
And-
questions she has
And
to
now
answer.
knowing, since you reminded me of the rumors that, not really rumors, but like maybe speculation or a thought that maybe she and Teddy might have had anything remotely romantic. Sounds ridiculous now, but having Teddy be there, being like, oh my God, they said that about Teddy and me, kind of to discredit like anything anybody's saying about she and Morgan, right?
I know. It's a little
I don't know.
different.
She has tattoos though. Andy, if she didn't have tattoos, they wouldn't be talking. And I thought, that sounds kind of ignorant, Kyle, but okay. Okay, Kyle.
Well, also, you were just pointing out to me that she gets asked the question about, or I guess they both.
Oh. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, guys, it's when they do the listener or the viewer questions. I call them listeners now. See, I'm so backwards.
I know.
Okay, the viewers, they call in. They have a question. So this question is for Kyle, and Kyle takes a deep breath because God knows what she's going to get, and Kyle can't handle questions from the viewers because she gets crucified. But anyway, this viewer is like, Kyle, what were your thoughts when you heard the news of PK and Dorit separating? What? What? I didn't hear that.
They're living apart. That's what it was.
Oh, was it not separating? It was living apart?
It was separating, but like they haven't been living.
Oh,
they
okay.
haven't been living together. I think it
Okay.
was the addition.
I haven't heard that. Teddy, have you? Teddy? This is your part. Teddy. No, I haven't heard that either, Kyle.
Well, wait. I mean, no. Yeah, I didn't hear.
No, wait, no, we didn't.
Like, okay.
And then Andy, did you hear that? And Andy's like, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think I heard something about that. And then Andy, doing his job, he's like, I guess the bottom line is, did you know they were separating or having problems? No, I didn't. With like a smile, and Andy goes, all right. I mean, guys, I don't mean this rudely, but it is the way it is. There's a reason she's not acting anymore. What the fuck
Wait.
was that?
She is. She's doing Housewives Christmas.
Okay, I actually really liked that.
That's where I think she was driving home from.
She was.
When
When she
she-
listened to Morgan Wade's song. She was listening to that. And then she stalked her on Instagram. Anyway, I think, and I thought about you. I told my sister is also named Lauren. I told my sister, I said, ugh,
Wait, why did you think of me?
because of Kyle. I turned to my sister and I said, oh, this is going to be a hard year for Lauren.
What doesn't Kyle do that doesn't immediately cause you to think about me?
Nothing.
Exactly.
When I look at Kyle, I think about you. I thought, oh, Lauren.
Anyway, so what were you? Why did I
I
come
just
to
think
mind?
it's going to be a tough season for Kyle, meaning you might have a hard time watching it.
Oh, I have no doubt it's going to be a hard season for her. But what I was able to ascertain after this episode is that she's finding her identity in understanding that I think she was kind of the crutch and the push around sister. We've talked about this.
Yes.
So I think she's figuring that out. That's why she has 8 tattoos now.
5.
Okay, here's what I'll say. That feels like a lot of tattoos in a very short amount of time. I'm not judging. I have tattoos, but I just wasn't expecting it.
I think something is clicked. Something is lit inside of her.
Here's the thing.
Is what I think is going on.
I think it's funny that tattoos are synonymous with lesbians.
Are they?
Yes.
Why? I don't get it.
What do you mean? That's kind of what she's saying. She's
I
like,
know,
oh,
but that's why I thought it was ignorant that she said that.
Of course it is. I understand. I think I can understand why, but you can have tattoos and not.
That seems more like of a Richard's sister to say than just like
Honestly, I
anything
think
to say.
I think it's media. I think we see
Maybe.
lesbians in movies and TV shows, and they're a little bit edgier. They're a little, they're on the wild side, like Morgan Wade a little bit. I get it.
Wild.
I can understand why, without knowing her sexuality, like why people may have felt that she has an energy to her. That's what it is. So here's what I'll say.
Morgan or Kyle?
Morgan.
Okay.
So when you have a gaydar, I understand that sometimes it can be perceived that like you're just assuming somebody's gay because they have tattoos or because of this and that.
Sure.
That, yes, is ignorant in so many ways, but not because it's something that's like stereotypical necessarily. It's just that like it's weird to equate those. But what I will say is that she has an energy. So sometimes that energy is a little edgier. Like she's definitely. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
So
I think it does.
without really knowing her sexuality, I just kind of assumed she was lesbian, but I didn't necessarily think she was dating Kyle right away.
Yeah. Now you do.
Well, I felt something was different when they were in Capo together. And we could talk about this all day, guys. But yeah,
Oh, wow. But here we are.
we're here.
Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 1.
Episode 1. We don't have Renna.
The gift of everything is that it was not supersized,
I know. I was kind of thankful.
nor did it need to be.
Well, no, not based on the content we saw, but neither did New York, and somehow
my
every
God.
episode was supersized.
Oh.
But I'm gonna try not to make any inside jokes. We got a note
About what?
that our jokes are inside jokes,
Oh,
and they're not
thank
funny.
you.
and we're not as funny as we think we are. So I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm trying to be like really monotone. I'm like,
Well, guys, we want this to be fun for y'all. We want this to be fun for y'all. We want y'all to laugh with us. But I have to say, selfishly, if I can't laugh and I can't laugh with Lauren, then this podcast isn't worth doing.
I understand.
You know what I
mean? We're fucking weird.
We are weird.
I'm
We've known each
so-
other a long time.
We have, and the majority of our listeners get it, but some of our listeners, I'm sympathetically, I
Sure,
apologize.
we do. We
I
do get it.
extend my deepest sympathies that we're not as funny.
And that's okay.
We're not as funny as you. And sometimes we go off on tangents.
And humor is subjective. So people think different things are funny, and that's just the way life goes. And that is okay.
What I will say is that I think the one thing I was like, wait, but I don't get it. We're not telling inside jokes that only you and I know. Usually anything that we're referencing that may, I think, come off as an inside joke is really stemming from just a knowledge of, like, it's just coming from, like, other
Like
shows.
cadotes or like an old
Exactly.
episode
Well,
or
I don't know if
something.
that's what they're referring to. But what I will say is
I was
most
just using an example.
most of our inside jokes that I think are perceived that way are things that maybe we've talked about in other podcast episodes. So if you're not following every show, I think that they're,
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, all this to say is that put me in jail, okay?
Thanks for the review.
Nail me to the fucking cross, okay?
Let
Nail
her
me to the cross.
Let her on fire.
And yeah, we go off on tangents.
That's
and
okay.
we're also not as professional as we could be.
Well, we're not getting paid, so we're not going to be professional until we get paid, baby.
I don't think they meant it that way, but I will say that, we're going to try to be professional, but let me tell you what. I am not a very professional person.
You are when you're producing, but this is just
when I'm
different.
working, I am
Yeah.
absolutely, but this is not for that. I'm
Correct.
definitely professional.
Yeah. Oh. I was throwing
Guys,
you
you know the real me, okay?
I was throwing you a lifeline.
I know. This is the real me. Okay?
This is me.
Guys, thank you for all of our cocktail
Thank you.
donations. I did do the thanks in our last episode, but sometimes some of our listeners don't listen to every episode. So I
Okay.
just wanted to repeat it one more time.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you. Only me, sorry. We just want to say thank you.
I'm the drinker in the group, so
I know.
really thank you.
We just want to say thank you to Carrie, Emmy, Jason, Nancy, Robin, Anna, Cracklin Roosevelt, Robin, K-Mac, Aaron, Christina, Allison, Carrie, Emmy.
All right.
We appreciate you.
Thank y'all so much, really.
As the world is burning.
Yeah, so.
And so we really appreciate your listenership. And we hope we can make you laugh because the world is burning.
Yeah.
Every day is a very sad day sometimes. So we're here.
It is sad. And
We're here for you to, guys.
We're here to kind of turn that down and to kind of
Yeah.
have a little bit of laugh, fun,
Like
silliness.
Madison LaCroix says it.
What?
We're your whipping bitch. Remember when she was like that? She was like, I'm not going to be your whipping bitch.
You're whipping bitch.
But yeah, I guess we should just get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey y'all, welcome to Reality Bites,
the podcast where we'll deep dive into this week's buzziest reality TV and pop culture happenings.
I'm Betsy, and while I may be 9 to 5 by day, I'm a reality connoisseur by night.
And I'm Lauren, a reality TV producer by trade, but my favorite pastime is dishing unfiltered dirt and behind-the-scenes scoop. We'll tackle the biggest and best water cooler moments of the week through an insider lens you won't find anywhere else.
Buckle up, buttercups.
Please don't tell me it's about Tom.
It's about Tom.
This is Reality Bites.
Should be past
They're bonded.
final. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're in season 13. And I guess all this is to say
She's
you
still not the
feel-
alpha.
Okay, so that's so that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you feel like she's the
No.
queen yet?
Fuck no. No. She never wears those shoes for me.
She doesn't wear that badge.
No. Does she for you?
Oh God, no.
Okay.
God, no. My biggest criticisms of Kyle have been since Lisa Vanderpump has left.
I think that's fair.
And I think that some of that criticism is a little unjust, only because I think a part of it is not setting her up for failure, but kind of, wanting more from her and maybe criticizing here and there that she doesn't fill those shoes of being the queen, that it is more you than me. But I do agree with that. But I can't say that she is completely at fault.
Well, what I've always said, and I don't want to fault Kyle for this, because I don't think she asked for it, right? I really don't think she
Exactly.
did. But I do think because she is the last standing OG from that show,
Yeah.
and even with Lisa Rinna there, Rinna was never an OG, even though she probably could feel like that. But when Vanderpump left, and Vanderpump was always the alpha, because she
was
could
the anchor.
do it, and
She was
she
the
could
anchor.
handle it, and it
Yeah.
made sense.
It
And
did.
Kyle always got to be the side puppeteer, and it was a good look for her. I mean, I never saw it.
The Robin
I
Hood
always
of
looked
Batman.
fucking through it, but people were like, it's Kyle. She's one of my favorite housewives.
I will not tell a
She
lie.
doesn't do it. Yeah, fuck off. A kind of a lady. No wonder she and Teddy are BFFs. Anyway, but when Vanderpump left, then everything did fall to Kyle kind of as the natural alpha because she was the last standing OG.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle is not an alpha. Look at her sisters. Even though she took care of those siblings and she kind of, managed things, she's not the alpha of this family.
No, she's the
fucking
little
way.
She consistently kind of fills that role of the little sister,
Yes.
whether it's in her friendships or it's
She
in her
does.
actual family
So
dynamic.
I don't
'Cause she is.
necessarily I'm very hard on Kyle, and if this is the first time y'all are listening to the Beverly Hills recap, buckle in, buckle up. I'm not a Kyle fan. But
yeah, so she doesn't like Kyle,
but-
and Kyle's my queen.
And
I
so,
love Kyle.
So whether you love or dislike Kyle, you're gonna get a little bit of both.
That doesn't mean
And
she-
also, but Lauren and I are both very fair. Like there's moments where I really can appreciate Kyle, and
Yeah.
Lauren will throw Kyle under the bus. It is what it is.
Fuck off, okay?
You
First of
will,
all,
though. You will.
I will.
You'll be
but because
fair.
I am being fair because as much as I love her, and there are moments in this episode that I was like,
You
we're
love.
connected.
You
I was
live to
like,
love.
no, I do, and no one better fuck with her. That's why I want Teddy to go away. Who looked like she was dressed
Oh.
up as a baked potato when she was at Watch What Happens Live. I was like, what are you wearing?
Oh, she really tried.
The both of them look like spaceship. I
They
can't.
looked terrible. I mean,
Anyway.
they looked good, but the outfits were
Yeah.
horrific. But what I'm saying is, I'm giving Kyle a little bit of credit because I don't feel like she asked to be the alpha, but because of just the natural progression of where the show went,
I think
people
exactly.
looked to her to do that. And guys, I hate to tell you this, she doesn't have a strong enough backbone to do that.
No.
And that's why the most I've ever liked Kyle was on the girls' trip when she got to be with all the heavy hitters and she got to sit in the background and just laugh and have fun because that's what Kyle does best. When Kyle tries to be too tough and too in your face, it's a joke to me.
When has she tried to be too tough and in your face?
Well, last season she tried. She tried hard.
The reunion where Kim
I'm not
gives,
talking about the reunion.
No, but the reunion where Kim
Oh.
gives back the bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle
Iconic.
is sitting first chair next to Andy, and she's crouching down because she's so embarrassed that Kim's doing that.
Well-
And in that moment, I'm going, you can just say something, right? Like, Kim, maybe we don't do that, but she didn't because she kind of cowards down a little bit.
She is a coward. In those moments, guys, okay, I take tough away. She's a victim. That's what I meant to say. And she was a victim in this episode, too.
Well, okay, so because we could talk about Kyle all day, and we will, because we're gonna get into that. But
Yeah.
what were your overall thoughts on this season 13, episode 1?
Oh, I thought
would you grade it?
I thought it was pretty lackluster. I would grade it maybe. Here's the deal. I've missed some of these women, So I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Okay.
Okay, because I missed some of these women looking hardcore at Garcelle and Dorit. I really missed her. Dorit's one that I always forget that I miss, and then I see her and I'm like, oh, I love Dorit.
I think I have a crush on Dorit.
And her hair,
Yeah.
I'm loving everything.
I've just been kind of like low key obsessed.
Yeah.
Kind of like that time that you pointed out that Winona Ryder is my favorite actress, and
I know
didn't
I did.
realize, and I was like, "What?" And you're like, "You love every Winona Ryder movie," and I do. I could name every
Y'all.
movie that Winona Ryder's in, and I didn't
Yes.
even realize it.
She didn't.
This went on for years, and Betsy was like, "Look, I have to tell you something."
This was
And
in
I was like,
college.
"What?"
I was like, I think that Winona Ryder's your favorite actress.
I know, and I
The
was like, "No."
American Quilt.
I know.
Girl Interrupted. Beetlejuice. I could go on and on.
There's some
Yeah,
that you didn't even scrape the surface. But
know.
my point in
I said
saying this
on
is
and
that
on.
with Dorit, in the last like month, I think it's escalated, and I didn't realize.
Yeah, I love her too.
So over the weekend, I had this aha moment where I was like, "Oh, I like love Dorit.
Oh my God, was it like Clueless? I think I love Josh.
Maybe I love
Yeah.
Josh, my stepbrother." So yeah, I had this moment. I was like, I can't
know.
live without her. I don't
I
know how this
know.
happened.
I know.
And the thing is that guys, you've heard me talk shit all last season. It's not that I want to get rid of Dorit. I just think we can, friend of status. But that has changed now for me, given the news that we heard around the world. God.
But not in Kyle's house. Kyle didn't hear, and Teddy didn't hear. Heard around the world, except for those two homes.
Yeah.
Even though they're neighbors. It didn't make it down there. Whatever. No, so I'll give it a B minus
Okay.
because I really missed women. Listen, I think what do you and Eats always say? It's
So the first episode is always a little
lay of the land or like a
State of the Union.
State of the Union. That's what
So
y'all say.
sometimes or oftentimes I feel like the first episode is always feels lackluster.
Yeah.
Because you're not learning anything new in a real way. You're just kind of popping in to see
catching
wherever.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not learning anything new, so it just feels not more of the same, but it's the first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
We have to anchor it and then we go from there.
Yeah.
So every season the first
Yeah.
episode feels a little
A little womp womp.
yeah,
you
a
know?
little subdued. So that's how I felt with this.
So
But it
what would
felt
you
even
say overall?
C plus, B.
Okay.
Yeah.
More kind of around
like a
the same.
79.
All right. I'm an 81.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our average, I guess, would be an 80.
Well, because here's the thing. Exactly. Oh, I don't want to be a B.
A B.
Well, if it averages out to an 80.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, so
All right,
I'm
moving
done with
on.
that. Anyway, we're moving on. So, even though, given what I just said, it's going to sound contradictory, but even though I know it's going to be a little lackluster because it is a State of the Union, I felt like it was even more so. It just, the pacing, nothing felt exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of just felt, honestly, it kind of felt a little bit how New York is. That was my takeaway. It just felt like,
I think because there's an expectation, whether it's subconscious or not, there's an expectation with Beverly Hills. There always has been.
yeah.
Beverly Hills tends to be a heavy hitter. People are always excited. People have a lot of opinions. Whether you love or hate it, you always tune into Beverly Hills. I think because of that, and yes, we have the swirling, news and speculations of all the separations and everything with Kyle. So I think that there was a lot of anticipation going into this season. And I think that on top of it just being kind of lackluster, people might have been even more underwhelmed because maybe they just expect a little bit more from Beverly Hills, which I've come to not. So I feel like maybe that's why I'm like, it was all right.
Yeah.
But I think because I just feel like Beverly Hills out of every single franchise, putting New York aside, because now New York's relaunched, it's different. Roni's totally different now, right? I think Beverly Hills is the franchise where people
I know.
judge, they judge it the most harsh, and it's the one that people anticipate the most. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's the one franchise that is not necessarily treated differently, but it is.
Kind of is, though.
It is, because
it's like on a pedestal.
Exactly. It's not because they are better. It's just because they're more famous or they're more connected to
Yeah.
celebrity in a
A real way.
real way.
Yeah.
So it just kind of it separates itself a little bit.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but it does. So maybe yeah. I thought that the cold open, which was it was like a cold open and then it was also the super tease for the season.
Yeah, it was just a trailer.
So wait.
That's really what it was.
So those headlines were in the trailer
Yeah.
too? Oh.
It was literally just the trailer.
Got
at the top
it.
of the
So
episode.
I thought that they did those headlines, and then they kind of intercut that with the super tease. But you're saying the super tease was like
That
from the
was
jump.
the straight trailer.
Okay, interesting.
So they just played
Well,
the
never
trailer,
mind.
and then we got into it.
Yeah, never mind. I was gonna have a
Bubba.
Oh.
Bubba. The chips. Bubba. Bubba.
Also, where were those bag of chips? Because they're very crumpled. Were they in his pocket?
Yes.
You know he's
He
hiding
has
it under
to
his
hide
sweatshirt.
them.
He
He
did,
has
he
to
does.
hide them.
Yeah. It's a little setup though.
Oh,
Here's the thing.
yeah.
It's the first scene of the season. The first scene with cast on any show is
Guys,
a
it's
little
a
like
warm up.
That's exactly what it is.
Getting back
It's a warm
into it.
up.
You're stretching your muscles.
Because you have to kind of set it up anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably lives in truth because we all know that PK lies about what he eats.
Bubba.
Did he feel like he had aged? Did you feel like he felt?
Oh, he always looks old to me.
I don't know. Something
I don't
about
know.
him.
He
He
looks about the same to me.
It felt like he had aged 5 years. He just felt so much older to
Well,
me.
we have gone a long time between last season and this season.
Maybe it's all of those insurance claims. Maybe they're making him old.
Fraud. A con artist.
So do you like Dorit's hair?
I think she looks hot.
I think she looks hot as
I'm
fuck.
into it. I'm so into
Here's
it.
the thing. It doesn't matter to me whether she looks older or younger, but the hair to me makes her look so much younger.
I think she looks beautiful.
I don't know why. I think she looks great.
Well, also, this is how many seasons has this been now with her on it? Like 5 or 6, something, 7 maybe.
Yeah, 7 maybe.
And she's
Yes.
always had the same hair. So to me, yeah, it's nothing to do with age. It's just like she feels renewed. Like she feels like just kind of fresh.
She does.
And I'm into it. I really am. I think she looks fucking great.
I was surprised that Kyle and Teddy were both
Well,
missing
what-
her blonde hair.
It actually made me feel more confident in my decision. And I think she looks hot.
I know. When I heard them, I went, "What?" But I guess maybe they don't see it.
They
the
don't
way
like
that we see it.
change.
They're not real lesbians. They don't see it the way I
Kyle
see
can be a
it.
lesbian, but Dorit cannot be brunette. No.
Beauty, eye of the beholder. It has to be because she's married to PK. But not for long.
Not for long. You got your wish.
What did I say?
You got your wish, baby.
Guys, if you heard it in the
She wants her
episode,
to lose that PK.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
You were. You're like, I just wanted to get rid of her.
I just
or
want her
him.
to get rid of him, and I feel like it's coming, and I want her to be free. I want her to be liberated.
I do too.
Well, she's dressed very conservatively. It was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
all of it was a little bit of a surprise to me. The hair's brown. She's wearing the collar, the button-down
It's like
collar
a
shirt,
schoolboy.
and
Schoolboy.
the sweater. Yeah,
Yeah.
And then there's PK rolling in with his hoodie, eating all the chips.
Baba, put those away.
We're setting up the retreat. We get a little bit of a flash. We see Dorit text to the women. Okay, 5 pages. The 5-page text to invite them to the retreat.
Did you expect anything less, though? For real.
God, no. It was so long we couldn't even see the whole message.
I know.
You know what I mean? You had to scroll.
I know. I literally paused so I could read it. And it was just a bunch of mumbo. We need to learn to love and respect. And we know we love each other. We're in dark places. Let's become light again. Let's go for the soul search. We may not be into it, but I'm extending an invitation.
Maybe
Like,
that's
it was along the lines of that, like multiple sentences.
why do we need that long of a message?
Because it's Dorit. And it is
I know.
It is so iconic and true to her. This is
Guys,
the most authentic she ever
Here's
is.
what I'm gonna say. Love her or hate her, speculate that they're lying about their money. They are.
They are.
But
they're calm.
Dorit's consistent.
She
Dorit's
is.
always been consistent.
And guys, just think about how long Dorit actually reread that before she sent it.
Oh my
And
god,
how
so
many
many times.
how many edits she did before she
Oh,
sent that.
she
You
sent
know what I
that-
mean?
She sent that to Chat GPT. I was like, please tweak it for me.
That's what I love, thinking about how many times she reread that. And then my favorite is the coldness of Erica. Thanks, or something like, hey Dorit, I'll be there, or something. Just
Yeah,
like
she was the first to respond, just got it
Yeah.
over with. She knows.
she knows.
She
yeah.
knows better. She fucking knows.
Well, it's just very indicative of Erica, like cold and to the point. Right.
Oh,
I'll be there.
absolutely.
Sounds
Another
good.
one who I think by and large has been consistent, even though I think it's hard for us to see that in the last few
She
seasons.
got derailed, but I
She
think
did.
she's been pretty consistent.
But she's always been that guard and that cold.
She has.
She has.
Remember when Lisa's brother passed and she sent the letter or the
Yes.
card
Same season.
in personal? That's very personal to me. I'm sorry you felt that way. And you know, Lisa Vanderpump apologized. She goes, "I'm sorry."
You're not intentionally cold, you're inherently cold.
Yeah. Well,
It's a little cheeky little gift.
Little
for your little puss.
little cheeky.
Oh God. All right, so Dorit wants to introduce the group to Eagle Woman and Blue Raven.
Blue Raven. It's been a hard year for the group, and she wants the souls to connect. And just like every franchise we've seen every single year, we want a new, fresh start.
New beginnings.
New beginnings, new friendships, new us.
Since at the retreat, guys,
What?
I'm bored. I'm not actually bored.
Well-
I'm enjoying the scene. I don't know.
Been there, done that, kind of what you feel?
Yes, I think I would have liked to have utilized this first episode, kind of getting them into more of a social space, maybe like a party or a dinner, and maybe bringing up or rehashing some things that happened in the past, and then surmising that we need to go to the retreat.
Well, kind of like Garcelle. Garcelle's like, I thought maybe the first time I'd be seeing these women again, we would be like at a bar, having a cocktail.
Yeah, just kind of catching up,
Yeah.
seeing how we feel about each other, and then remembering that we don't like each other. And then we're like, oh,
Let's get a drink.
yeah, we need to go. No, then we were like, we need to go to the retreat.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Backwards, yeah.
Yeah, it just felt a little, just kind of lacked texture.
To me, I like it because it's so Dorit. It's a little bit out of touch.
It
it's
is
a little bit
very Dorit.
unhinged. Like, it's a little bit like I'm not fully paying attention, but I'm kind of trying to pay attention. It's very Dorit. And so I kind of appreciate it from that aspect, but I do agree with you. I don't necessarily know from like the storytelling aspect that should have been the first scene of the season. Like, I do like that all the women get together, even though Crystal doesn't talk. I like that all the women get together.
Okay, guys,
But-
Crystal doesn't talk at all this entire episode except for the
She
scene
was a hologram.
with Rob.
Oh, that's right.
She has that one little moment
And it
with
was a
Rob.
flashback. Being like, well, I mean,
Was it?
Yeah, because they were talking about
Oh,
Erica.
that's right.
Remember? And he's like, well, she's
was
not
a
convicted,
flash.
but she
But she
something
spent
like
the money.
Yeah, it wasn't her money, but she spent the money. And it's like, okay, we don't
Cool.
fucking
Again, Rob speaks
Sorry,
more than
Rob.
Crystal.
Yeah. Because like
Rob,
mhm.
yeah, he's a director. He's a
I'm
movie
just
director.
like I like seeing them all together, but it honestly
It felt detached.
As lame as the event was, I feel like it would have made more sense to have it at the end of the episode. Honestly,
That's what
You know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And not
I'm with you on
because we
that.
typically do all cast events at the end, but I feel like I needed build up to that.
I
feel
agree.
like we didn't have enough texture to really understand where everybody
Yeah.
really felt. And I know that they did
Yeah.
flashes to the reunion.
yeah,
But not
you're
really.
better than that though.
That's
have
what I
a, have a
mean.
scene with Kyle talking to Dorit, being like, I'm really hurt about the reunion and X, Y, and Z. Have a flash with have a flash with Dorit before we get to the fucking retreat, being like, Erica really hurt my feelings about saying that PK and
Yeah.
I were going to be divorced, the next couple to be divorced.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Kyle and well, no one's divorced yet, but Kyle and Mauricio beat her to the split. But you know what I mean? Like,
We didn't have any build
don't
up.
have
It was just like
anything.
boom, we pop it in. Like boom, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Boom, I'm still feeling this way. Boom, I'm this. Boom, I'm that.
I'm
Like,
with you.
what-
I'm with you.
We don't even have really a check in on how she is with Kathy, who's not coming back this season.
God, I know. I'm depressed.
Don't worry, we're gonna get some players. We're gonna get some players.
Yeah, one of my favorite players of all time.
Denise.
Mm.
So Kyle and Sutton, they FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about the retreat.
I hope it's on a Rips course. And Kyle goes,
I'm a woo girl. I'm a good time girl.
woo. Kyle goes, I hope it's on a trust fall. Nobody's going to catch me. And I thought, wow, Kyle's really seeing herself finally for the first time in 13 seasons. Nobody's catching me, baby. Actually, you know what I thought of in
What?
that scene? Her arms are ripped.
She's rip. I don't give a rip.
I don't give a rip, guys.
Mama
that's
D.
that's from Dallas.
That's from Dallas. That's Mama D.
Forgot to put footnotes.
We will get footnotes. I'm serious. I want all of our listeners to feel.
To understand, yes.
I want them to feel included.
Yes, guys, we are inclusionist.
We got
Is that a word? Inclusionist?
it.
All right, forget about it. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Guys, that's from Denise. Wait, I'm just kidding.
Bravo, bravo, fucking
Fucking
bravo.
bravo.
Well, we got a note in our Spotify Q&A,
What?
which is the same question every episode. How did you like this episode? Somebody responded saying, like, I don't know what you're trying to do. You're trying to kill me. Taylor Swift, I can't. 12 minutes, I can't do Taylor
Oh,
Swift.
fair. That's
I-
fair. That's fair.
I found them on Instagram, DM'd them, and I said, I am so sorry. They were not even
You did a
following
little
us.
stalking.
Guys, I did a little netizen stalking,
Yeah.
and I found them, and I said, I am so sorry. And you may not know this, but we do put it in our show notes. So I just want you to know.
That's fair. Guys, we will always, and by we, I mean Lauren. Lauren will always time code things, okay?
Especially if we talk
will.
about Taylor. Time
We
code
will.
in, time code out.
We will. And we're not doing any of that today.
Well, we can type code in when it's Kyle scenes and time code out.
Yes,
No, I'm kidding.
for Betsy and Betsy's fans out there that don't like Kyle. I'm just kidding.
So yeah,
But yeah, they're FaceTiming. And she just looks great. Honestly, she looks like she's been working hard on her
Kyle.
whole- Yeah.
Yeah, and Sutton.
Well, Sutton, yeah. Sutton to
But
me
Kyle
looks the
looks-
same.
Kyle
but
looks
Sutton just
good.
looks very natural. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, I feel like, not necessarily in the confessionals, but in the scene, she looks very, like very beautiful, very natural, like not wearing a lot of makeup, although maybe she is, but it looks natural, and I like it.
She does, and Kyle feels snatched.
She's not going anywhere
She
anytime soon.
she looks good, guys. When I talk about work that anybody's had or I'm speculating, I'm here for it. This is never shaming. This is never judging.
Yeah.
For our new listeners, just want everyone to know that. But she looks snatched. Actually, a few of the women look snatched in the neck. It feels like we did some pulling, maybe some liposuction.
Yeah.
But it looks,
Yeah.
you know, maybe a little mini, not facelift, but I think it's like a sugar or something facelift where it's
Yeah.
like non-invasive. Didn't you feel that way? They all look
Yes.
very tight.
Yes. They do.
Erica barely moves her lips in that interview, in that confessional, when she's wearing the gold.
I know that. I think she
Nothing
looks,
is moving.
I fucking love the way she looks in that.
Joan of Arc, she's wearing chainmail. She's like, I am not fucking going
Yeah,
anywhere.
she's not. She's blowing nowhere.
And
BJ's.
Kyle.
And then Kyle, yeah.
Kyle's snatched. And so is Sutton. Sutton looks like she snatched her neck
Yeah.
too. They all look good. They look great.
Yeah.
It needs to settle a little bit. Some of them, I think it just needs to settle just a skosh. You know how it goes with Vicky, remember? When she got her facelift 6 weeks before the season started.
That was rough.
And we had to spend the entire season trying to sift through her shaggy dog hair. No, I'm
It-
serious.
yeah.
She looked like Cousin It.
Okay.
Because she was hiding her whole face. Oh, God.
Well, I got there eventually, but then she did more work, and we had to start back from square one.
We did.
Yes.
So we get everybody getting ready, aka Dorit. Dorit's the only one, guys.
Glam.
Full fucking glam. This
My
is
queen.
it's giving me all in.
Accountability retreat.
We're going to Orange County. I'm gonna show up 6 hours late because it's getting glam, and I was leaning up against a window.
Photo shoot.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have a fucking life, Kyle.
Okay. I
What?
do too.
So do I. I'm an actress.
Well, out of work.
I thought that was funny. And of course, Dorit's getting full glam to go and sit on poofs outside
Wait.
in Malibu.
Before, okay, so then we get another FaceTime, which I almost forgot about, but we get another FaceTime with Kyle and Dorit. And Dorit's like, God, Kyle, you look hot.
You look good.
And Kyle's like in a towel. She goes, Kyle, whatever you do, don't drop the towel.
Wait, I thought that was with Sutton. That's what I was saying
No,
earlier.
well,
Guys,
that
I
was different.
fucked up.
They were both FaceTimes.
Got it. Okay. I
The
think I just got
FaceTime with Sutton
confused.
was the trust fall. What the fuck are we gonna
That's
do?
right, that's right, that's
And then
right.
the FaceTime was with Dorit was like she
That's
was
right.
in a towel.
Okay.
And Dorit's like, you look hot, and she goes, oh, I just got out of the shower.
By the way, this makes so much more sense that she wants to show her tits to Dorit.
Dorit liked it. Dorit
Dorit
was
loves that.
Dorit was pretending to be like, no, Kyle, no. But she liked it.
I could see Dorit dating a woman.
Honestly,
Can't you?
I have to say,
It's very chic and European of her. A woman
as
of the
much
world.
as much as I have such a hard time, no pun intended, with Kyle, and this would never ever ever happen, but if somehow she and Dorit had a little rendezvous, I would be.
You'd be into it?
Yeah, I really would. But you know,
Well, remember when Dorit was really into, what's her name?
who? Erica's panties.
The d-
Pantygate.
God help us all. No, when she was really into Eden Sassoon.
Oh.
If I had a good crush, it'd be you, Eden.
Oh my god!
Remember when they were all
Oh my
obsessed with her?
God.
Remember that?
No, I literally just watched that specific episode like
Uh-huh.
a month ago.
They're all at
She's like, "Are you a
Kyle's."
lesbian?"
She's like, I just don't know. I just Eden.
"Oh my god!
Eden.
Oh my god!"
She crushes hard on Eden.
and Eden's like, "I'm kind of uncomfortable, but I'm
Eden
kind
was
of into it."
Eden
but I'm
was
kinda-"
someone that everyone vibed as being lesbian, tattoos.
She
that-
wasn't though.
She wasn't, but she had a bunch of tattoos,
Yeah.
and that's another one. They're like chest tattoos. She's gay.
She's lesbo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember
know.
that. Okay, all right.
So yeah,
all right,
she
here we
wants
are.
to- that's what I was saying. She's a good time.
Drop
girl.
that towel, Kyle.
But she actually drops it. I didn't realize that they
well,
had.
she shows the nips.
She may not have. Maybe post put
Well,
that in it
yeah,
to make
they
it
blurred
to make
it.
it funny. To make
It
cheeky.
didn't look like it was that low, but
I mean, are her tits that high? Because it looked high up.
well, that's what I mean. Like the towel didn't look that low, like the nips. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Let's not ask Mo because he doesn't know. He hasn't seen her
doesn't
body.
know. Tattoos are not there.
You haven't seen me. You haven't seen me naked.
You don't know where my freckles are.
Sutton and Garcelle
In the car.
in the car. Okay, next.
And done.
There's nothing really going on. I think she bought a horse.
She bought a horse, and they both
She
of
bought a
them,
coat.
Both of them are kind of like, we don't know how we feel going to this.
Also true.
I think Sutton's like, I feel kind of sick, and Garcelle's like, I feel sick. I don't know, guys. To be honest with you, it's been so long since
I
last
know.
season, and believe it or not,
It's been a year.
I have not watched the reunion again. So like, I don't even really remember other than like the high level topics. So it's like, part of me is like, wait, who's feuding with whom? Like, I kind of have a hard time remembering certain stuff.
So to give you guys a little bit, I'll give you the State of the Union.
Okay.
When we left the reunion last season, it's not necessarily that it was acrimonious or contentious, but
Kind of was though.
we have Garcelle and Sutton
Always.
who were on the side of Kathy,
Yes.
and they were not entertaining Lisa, Erica,
Sure.
and what happened in Aspen.
The Milltown.
Exactly. So there, right there is already kind of
Aside.
Yeah, exactly. It's divisive. But when we left the show, we were led to believe that Kyle was on the side, not necessarily on any side, but she was fighting for her right to exist, right? Within this family dynamic and within Kathy. So she confronts Kathy with Lisa. So we're led to believe that this is all fine. But then we get to the reunion, she's having big time regrets. She doesn't want anybody fucking with that because this is her family. And if she's fine with it, if she is fine being treated like shit, that has to be on her. She's trying to take accountability for that. And everyone else needs to shut up because it's making her dynamic with her sister harder. So that's kind of where we're at. So I would assume that Sutton's probably feeling like, what are Kyle and Erica going to think of this because of where we left things last season, even though it wasn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't a House of Cards falling, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. And I think that they're still friends with Kathy, and that's what Kyle essentially brings up later on with the parties.
Yeah. She likes to party with Kathy. Well, maybe she just likes Kathy more than she likes you.
Well, I think that
I do. Sorry.
I know Kyle's a little uptight.
She is uptight, and I
I
want Kyle
know.
to loosen it.
I know, that's why I said Aaron Litchie.
You know what though? No, absolutely. But I like Kyle more than I like Aaron, and I believe in Kyle. Wow, you're surprised by that?
You hate Kyle.
I cannot stand Aaron.
What's the margin? If Aaron is a 50, where's Kyle?
Oh,
52?
yeah, 51. I'll give her
Out of
I'll give her
100?
Yeah. I just there's an aspect that I feel like you say you want Aaron to like fly her freak flag. Like
Let
I
her
kind
freak flag
I
fly.
kind of want Kyle to do that too. And maybe
that's why-
we're starting to get
Here's
that
the
era.
thing.
Honestly, like we're kind of blowing in that direction. But like
I was giving her a little bit of like a cool factor because I was thinking, well, if there's a world where she is actually dating a woman, like that gives her a little edge.
it does.
Not to say that being gay is like a hallmark, like an attribute, but
No, it would make her
It is.
cooler. It just is what it is.
I mean, I can speak as a
Yeah.
gay person.
as a lesbian.
as a lesbian. Okay?
Let's be honest.
It does. It gives her a little edge, but then she's like, no, we're just friends. I'm like, oh,
Well, of course she's gonna say that.
why wouldn't she just admit at this point?
Because now she gets to be in the position where she's been strong. She's filing for the separation because she's been, Mauricio's been doing whatever he wants to do for all the years and she's had enough.
I think she's feeling disconnected.
I think she's feeling disconnected, but I would argue that maybe she's felt disconnected for a long time. But
Yeah.
now she gets to be on a platform. She gets her soapbox. She gets to speak.
An empty nester.
And yeah,
In
and
a real
maybe-
way. I mean,
and maybe
Portia's
that
still at
really,
home, but I do think it's that.
maybe that has a lot to do with it. I think that actually is very fair,
Yeah.
and maybe not
She's not as
so
busy.
much like might be more subconscious than anything. But
Mm-hmm.
because what I will say, and I'll say this here, the first episode, because I'm not going to spend the rest of our recaps talking about this, because as a Kyle, not a fan of Kyle. What I will say about Kyle is I think Kyle is a really, really good parent. I think she loves her kids, which may sound weird to say because like you'd be like, he doesn't love their kids. Well, I think Kyle's a good mother, and I think she really wants to have a good family. And I will say when they went on Watch What
Out
Happens
of all
Live,
the things you could have said she was a good mother. You could have said that she's a good person. But what did you say? You said you like her because she lets you do whatever you want.
oh God, fuck off, God
Guys,
damn it.
that's New York.
Quit bringing it back to that. It's a shit show. But guys, when she went on Watch What Happens Live, if you saw it, if you didn't see it, Andy at the beginning of the episode asked, like, Kyle, what is the one thing that you think is the most ridiculous about everything that's going on? And she goes that this whole thing is for like a storyline. And
I saw
I
that.
honestly was like, maybe I could believe it or not. But then Kyle goes, I would never, like, to think that we would ever do that to our girls is ridiculous. And I believe that. Like, I think that Kyle would never, ever want to cause any harm to any of her daughters. And I've always said, if anything, like, the biggest compliment I could ever give Kyle is that I think she's a really, really good parent. I do.
Yeah, I don't think this is for a storyline. I think this is legitimate.
Guys, Kyle cares too much about what people think.
Correct.
She's not doing this for that.
We're also seeing them not feel connected in this episode.
It's
from
awkward
the jump.
as
It's so fucking weird.
It's weird.
Everything feels
It
a little
is.
disjointed. It's really odd, especially with Dorit too. I mean,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
both going through something, obviously.
Petrified
Right?
pizza.
But doesn't it seem like just kind of a little disconnected?
She seems out of sorts. She really does. I don't know.
So we're at the retreat.
Okay.
We're in Malibu on a promontory. I don't know where we are.
We're somewhere windy. It is windy.
The Rock.
Grandfather's here. That's grandfather.
Don't you feel it? The Rock is for us. It's talking to me. The Rock.
It's grandpa. We have
Eagle Woman.
Blue Raven.
Blue Raven. Yeah.
So people are showing up. There are horses.
Sutton bought a horse. Kyle doesn't know how she feels seeing everybody for the first time.
Victim. I'm hurt.
And last year, Erica, she was sticking up for herself.
I only care about me.
She's so drunk in that scene. She's slurring her
The only
fucking words.
person I care about is me.
Guys, this is where we find out that Rinna quit by email.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about this.
Okay, well, I actually want to know your opinion. How do you feel about them showing that? Do you think it's funny? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's kind of like a little bit of a dig? What are your...
No, I think it's kind of funny because I think that here's the deal. I think it's to me, Rinna maybe quit a job that she knew she was about to be fired from, right? It's like she did something wrong, and before she got fired, she's like, you know what? I quit. And
Of course.
we don't really know what happened, whom did whom first, but I'm sure I believe that email was written and was sent.
Oh,
And
abso-fucking...
but
I've received emails like that.
but what I will say
Quitting
is
the
that,
show.
like,
I'm like, all right, cool.
sounds
See ya.
good. Yeah, it's like it's never the flex you think it's gonna be. Right?
No,
Sounds
no,
good.
no.
But I think for Lisa specifically, because she knew the direction of how things were going, the backlash, everything, I think she knew that this would be a season that she would be on pause, break, whatever you want to call it.
Sure. She
So
was
I
unruly.
I think sending the email was for her to save a little face. Now, I don't quite know why we show it. Maybe we show it because eventually maybe we do want her back within a season or two. I don't know. But I did think that was kind of...
Here's what I'll say. I don't think there's any
I
relevance
won't be
to
coming
show
back.
it.
Lisa. It's like, okay.
Exclamation point 3 times.
Goodbye.
So here's what I'll say. I don't think there's any relevance to showing it. In the grand scheme of things, it's innocuous. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But here's where I have the problem.
Okay.
To me, what it does is it shines a light on what's sacred in our industry. If we can't send an email to our producers or our executives that, I mean, you know what I mean? Like if our emails are going to be shown on TV, where's the benchmark? Where's the line drawn? And even though it's not that big of a deal, it's kind of inconsequential. It doesn't really have a consequence at all. So for me, it was more like, I don't know, it felt a little breach of trust. Now they have every right to show it because they own the rights, the materials, the emails, right? So materials, I mean, I say that in quotes. Like, so materials are photos, your likeness, like stuff like that. So if you have music,
AI. Your likeness.
we're gonna get Lisa back in a hologram.
Yes.
So it allows us to be able to use pictures and things of you,
Yeah.
right? You're essentially signing off, not your privacy, because you shouldn't. That's where this argument is. I just think that it really didn't have any relevance in any real way. Like, it wasn't significant. And for me, even though the email in and of itself is super simple and there's not a lot to it, I just felt, I don't know, I felt like, where are we drawing the line? I feel like cast members should want to be able to send emails to their producers and not feel like, oh, is this going to be something that's shown? That to me, it just doesn't really set. It doesn't set a good example. Not because they're doing anything inherently wrong. You know what I mean?
I totally see what you're saying.
Okay.
And I validate that.
I don't know where we're going. Like most of the women at this retreat, I don't know what I'm walking into. What are you saying? What are you going to say to me?
Because
what are you going to tell me?
I feel like this benefits Lisa. I feel like because she's showing in her email, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be coming back. It's my choice.
But no one believes that, so it
give a
doesn't matter.
flying fuck.
How does it benefit her then?
Because it benefits her because we have it in written text. I'm not going to be coming back. Good wishes.
But that's
good
why
luck,
I think
whatever.
that they showed it because they don't believe. I mean, it's
I'm
silly.
just saying, I agree with what you're saying, but it would be different if it was a letter being like, hey, Lisa, we're not asking you back next season. We wish you all the best. Maybe we can reconvene at some other time instead. It's Lisa writing, guys, I'm not going to be coming back. I hope you wish you all the well. Good riddance.
Okay, but then this also, to me, it does this weird breaking the fourth wall. It's
It
not to say
does.
that I don't mind that they do, but Bravo, the executives, they cherry pick what shows break the fourth wall, what they can talk about, what they can't. This show, specifically to Beverly Hills, because they're in Hollywood.
Because they're in the industry.
And it's very layered in that way. So like in the industry in a reality show, but then they're also
Yeah.
in the industry because they're actors in SAG and all these things.
Yeah.
So when we see those emails, it feels weird. It's like if we're
I
to
get
sell the
that.
audience that these people are friends and they really hang out, does it kind of take away from the integrity of that by saying like I'm going to quit the show? It's not lost on anybody that yes, they get paid, they're hired, et cetera, et cetera. But especially when we see a group that we really feel are actually friends, and they are, does it feel like it takes away from the integrity of what? Okay, that's how it felt to me.
same
It's like
thing,
I don't understand why
honestly,
we're.
It makes me sad, but the fourth wall is gone. It is destroyed. It's done.
I know, but
It's
that's
done.
not how the executives feel.
I don't give a flying fuck what they think. I'm telling you as a viewer what it is.
Yeah.
Because guess what? In the next 10 minutes, we're talking about BravoCon. Guys, BravoCon is breaking the fourth wall. Like, it may not feel like that,
The last
but
time we
it
were in New
is.
York. The
Because
last time we were all
you're-
together.
BravoCon. The last time we were all together at BravoCon on the stage. I'm a showwoman. I'm a showman.
I'm a showman. The greatest showman.
Me, Erica.
It's like Zero's like a lion tamer.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that was my favorite moment of the entire episode. The showman.
I just think of Britney Spears' Circus.
Yeah.
All eyes on me
into the living room
like
of
the
the circus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we were also asked, please stop singing.
Oh.
That I'm gonna make a valiant effort to not do.
Well, time goes.
Okay.
I can't do that. Guys, I'm a singer. Okay. A singer.
Yeah. So guys, if
I'm a
you don't-
singer, not a songwriter.
If you don't know anything about Betsy, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of info, and this is going off on a tangent.
No. We'll time code it.
She used to compete in karaoke, guys.
Guys, I love to sing. Okay.
Yeah. So
I
this
know I'm
is-
not a singer. I'm not on Broadway. I get it. I get it. But
You're not
sometimes
in Chicago starting Erica Jane.
my brain just competes
know.
into song. It
I
just
know.
is what it is, and I'm sorry.
know.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, going back to Lisa,
Yes.
you feel like it benefits her.
Well,
I just think it's an interesting
I
take.
just didn't. To me, it was like I felt like Lisa wanted them to show that. Like to me, because it made it seem like she chose to leave, other than being asked to
See,
leave.
here's
That's
the
how
thing.
I read it.
Maybe that was her intention, but no one believes that. So for
Oh,
me,
well-
the intention of showing it was to almost make her look silly.
Oh, but I can co-sign that, and I'm
So I don't
okay
think it
with that.
benefits her.
Okay,
Okay,
but-
guys, we're gonna talk about this for the next
Yeah,
hour and a half.
yeah. We'll
Anyway,
we'll pass on.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do understand what you're saying.
We both understand each other because I get what you're saying too. But now we're in the circle of trust. Oh wait, just breathe. I'm talking about no singing.
Not yet, not yet.
Just breathe. Oh, we're not there
Is
yet.
there- not yet.
Oh, okay.
So Erica arrives, guys.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't want to. Again, I'm not shaming, but we are. I mean, we kind of have to just call it as we see it. Erica is much thinner, and I think that everybody feels taken back a little bit. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so thin." Kyle's like, "No, you're thin. No, you're thin. No, you're pretty. No, you're pretty."
You're a paper of cards.
What was your first impression of me, and what's your impression of me now? You're pretty, and you're pretty. I thought you were
You're
gonna be a
boring?
little boring.
And you're thin. Now you're boring and you're thinner.
And then when I found out you were pregnant, I was like, "Oh God." Remember?
Yeah, Sutton. I love it.
Oh God, Teddy, I feel so bad. She starts to cry immediately. Guys, she's gonna cry. No, I'm not. You remember?
Hormones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she has to excuse herself.
She goes, "It's just good. I'm pregnant. I'm hormones."
We're like, Teddy, go out the front door. Thank you. Take care.
Later.
Later, Gator.
What's funny is that Edwin does not go and get her.
Edwin's the only likable thing about Teddy. I hate to say
By the
that.
way, that's so funny. I said that earlier, guys.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, we
Guys,
really are connected.
If you're not remembering, this is Teddy's 3rd season. They're all at Kyle's for dinner because Kyle spent 2 weeks acting. Okay, and she came back. She came back from her job, and she has this get together. Teddy is very pregnant and has a lot of hormones and is crying.
Yeah.
She's very upset, and Sutton calls her boring. But that was the whole point of the game. Anyway, not to get too much into it, but yeah, that was Teddy in her 3rd season.
Yeah.
But hormones, speaking of hormones, that's how Erica lost her weight. Do you believe that?
No.
Does it matter to you?
No, it doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to
It
me
doesn't matter
either.
to me at all.
But I do think Dorit's funny.
I thought Dorit was so funny.
Guys, she's on fucking fire.
Yeah, Dorit is the MVP of this episode to me.
All of her confessionals, she's in this, she feels like she's in this.
She doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly. She's in this mode where she's like, I've had it.
Yeah.
I've had it.
She's got the new hair, the new person. Well, not new person. It's her same personality, but yeah, she's light in the sense that she doesn't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. I love it.
I don't care if she's on Ozempic. It doesn't matter to me. It's her business. If she wants to,
I don't care either, but I don't believe it's just whatever she's saying.
hormones.
Whereas Kyle, I think is actually
Well,
not drinking,
you
working
think
out like
she's on
crazy.
Ozempic
No,
too?
I really don't.
Neither do I.
She's the one that I actually don't think is, because we see how hardcore she's working out. We know that she hasn't been drinking, which, I guess we'll get into later. She says it's for certain reasons. I think it's for other stuff.
Sure.
But I think that actually tracks more, because that scene when she was FaceTiming Sutton, her arms look ripped. Like, she looks like she's fucking working
guys,
hard.
even if she is on Ozempic and she's not on Ozempic, it makes no
cares?
it makes
We don't
no
care.
difference to me. It makes no difference
I don't care
to me.
other than the fact that don't lie about it, because all the other housewives are like, yeah, I'm on it, and who the fuck cares?
Here's what I'll say.
But I actually don't think Kyle's lying about it.
I do not-
I think Kyle's actually not. I think Erica is.
I do not care whether somebody discloses if they're on Wegovy, if they're on Ozempic. That's your business. We are not entitled to know that.
That's true.
My only criticism is people who are on Ozempic don't say they're on Ozempic, but then will say that they're eating healthy and they're working out,
Sure.
and that's how they lost 30 pounds.
So I guess Erica
That
is
to
like,
me-
it's hormones.
Exactly. So I think that she kind of finds a little bit of a loophole because she's not
Yeah.
not being disingenuous and saying, hey guys, I'm
It's just,
50
I'm
something
working
years old and
out
I'm
and
working
whatever.
out.
Yeah.
Because that's not lost on anybody
she
that as we
57?
get older. No, she's in her 50s.
Oh, I think you said 57. I was
No,
like,
no,
what
no.
the
God,
fuck?
no.
God, she looks great.
No. But it's not lost on us. Metabolism slows down, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that she's found a loophole. She's not going to say she's working out. But if it's hormones,
Yeah.
Tomato, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I do understand the trepidation in people not wanting to admit that, or just, guys, sometimes people just don't want to talk about their
And
their
that's
medical
fair.
records. Okay.
Oh, and that's fair. And I think, the feeling about Ozempic is that, like, people might look down upon it, and it's like a celebrity get fixed fast. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't
Lose weight fast?
I don't
It's
know.
really
Probably-
not
probably
though.
this out. No, I'm saying like get like a quick fix.
Oh,
right? Like a
like-
quick fix
yeah,
fast.
yeah.
And I just I don't know. But I don't give a flying fuck. I
It
really
doesn't
don't
matter
care.
to me. But she is much thinner. How do you spell hormones? OZEMPIC. She's on a fucking
For 100 credits.
roll.
Yeah. I love to read.
Forget what you know. Remember what you forgot.
Exactly what?
Can you break that down for me?
No.
Forget what you know. Remember what you forgot.
Yeah, that sentence. That was so fucking confusing.
But in a weird way, I kind of got it. I was like, I don't understand this at all, but I kind of get it.
Well, what's the feeling of it? What's the purpose? What is she trying to say?
I think what she's trying to say is forget what you know. Don't always stick to the beaten path.
Okay.
Forget what you think you're supposed to be.
But don't forget who you are.
Exactly.
So what my mom always used to say, and she still says this to me, anytime I go somewhere, she goes, remember who you are. And I always take that with me.
Mm-hmm.
Remember who you are. So maybe that's what it is. Like, forget certain things, but always remember to the core who you are and like what your situation is. Yeah.
Exactly. Did you have to think about who you are on your way here today?
No.
Did you leave your house being like, oh, who am I? Who?
Well, it was really pouring, so I was just trying to get here.
Oh, yeah.
My windshield wipers don't work very well, so I can't really see.
God, get that fixed.
I
Get it?
live dangerously.
Fixed.
Yeah.
So guys, in Beverly Hills fashion, they're all sitting in a circle. Kumbaya.
Trust, breathe, just
Okay.
breathe.
They have to go around and they have to talk about the things that still feel upsetting
Sticking
and
with them.
Exactly. It's something that feels very pervasive, right? Parasitic. It's just with them and it won't leave, you know. You gotta
For
get,
months and months and months and months
Exactly.
and months.
and Dorit goes first. Erica,
I'm
I
hurt.
feel very hurt.
I think you can guess why.
I actually didn't know.
I
I legitimately was like, wait, what happened? I'm so
love
confused.
that Erica was like, sit silent.
Do you think Erica knew?
Yes, Erica fucking knew.
I feel like she didn't know.
No
I didn't know.
fucking way.
I remember her saying that at BravoCon, but I wasn't.
Yeah, but let's draw the straws. If Dorit is saying, "Hey, Erica, I'm hurt and upset about something," I think you can guess what it is. I think Erica's gonna be like, "Oh, it's probably BravoCon." Let me make this clear. I don't think Erica went to that circle of trust thinking, "Oh God, Dorit's gonna call me out for BravoCon." But I think in that moment when Dorit's like, "I'm upset with you, Erica," I think you can guess why. I think Erica could eliminate the circumstances and be like, "Oh, probably because of this." But you know what Erica does? She stays silent. Just lets Dorit talk and talk and talk. That Dorit loves to do.
Silence is golden.
Yes, it is. PK and I would be the next divorced couple, which honestly they may be, because I could see.
What do you mean? They're separated.
Well, I know, but I could see them actually going forward and getting divorced way before Kyle and Mauricio ever do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think Kyle
just
and
mean,
Mauricio are BFFs.
legally.
Exactly.
I honestly could
Exactly.
see Kyle and Mauricio never finalizing anything,
Correct.
right? Just kind of
Same.
living separately.
Yes.
I could see that.
So could I. So could I. Now, Erica's asked this question because Andy is trash. He always does this. He puts these women on the spot, causes problems. He's a producer.
She gave the people what they wanted.
I'm a showman.
Oh my God, I died.
Where's her top hat?
You walked down that runway and you strutted and you said, PK and Dorit. Dorit, I'm a showsman. I gave those people what they wanted.
That's not a showman. That's a bitch.
Honestly, when Dorit was doing the imitation of that in her confessional, I almost cried. I mean,
That's a bitch.
How many times did she practice that in the mirror?
Here's what I'll say.
100?
Yes.
Okay.
And I played it 4 times in a row.
Because it was good. The way she goes, she shook her hair. I mean, it was so funny.
She felt that. It was very Y&R. She's ready. Call Eileen.
Call Aileen Davison, baby.
Let's get you on Y&R.
Let's do it.
Because I felt that.
Because here's the deal. This is why this
She's
is
a
my favorite.
bitch.
This is my favorite moment of the whole episode because one, I loved Erica. I'm a showsman. Just dead, cold in the face.
I'm a showman. Dorit?
I'm a showman.
I'm a showman.
That was hilarious. And then Dorit's retelling in the confessional was iconic. So that was my favorite moment of the whole fucking episode.
These people, guys, I'm a showman.
I'm a showman.
What the fuck does that mean?
I mean, she's on stage and she performs.
She didn't even want to fucking say it.
Yeah, but she did. She's a showman because instead of being like, oh, I feel bad saying this, but
I plead the
PK and
fifth.
Dorit, instead she stands up, she stretches, and she goes, PK Dorit, and then she turns, she whips around. Showman.
I think you wanted to do it for attention.
Well, duh, Dorit. Come on.
Is it
y'all.
attention though?
Everybody wants attention on this show.
No, but here's what I'll say. She's on a stage because she's a showman.
She's a showman.
Andy's asking her the question. Yes, she could have, plead the fifth. She could have just said, no, I'm not going to answer that.
She could have said Teresa
But do you...
and what's his face? Louis. Yeah.
I think that she was put on the spot and she was just trying to think quickly. And I think it was easier for her to think of somebody in her own franchise because that's the closest thing that she knows. Now, here's what I'll say.
Yeah, she's not going to say Lisa and Harry. Good God.
No, God, no, God, no.
She's like me and Tom.
Of course, but I don't think that she's after the type of attention that I think Dorit's implying.
What is she implying?
That she did it very intentionally because she just wants to cause fodder. She wants people to talk about it, water cooler. But I don't think I don't think that that's what the intention was. I think that you're put on the spot, you're answering within like 20, 25 seconds, and you're just like, whatever.
I think her point was saying she's a showman is that she got asked the question. She didn't want to answer it, but then she's like, okay, I'm going to have to answer it. This is the answer I'm going to use. And I'm not just going to say it, I'm going to perform it. Because she does. It's a very performative answer. But I think that that's where Dorit's coming from, that she's like, it was intentional and you wanted attention from it. But that's also just Erica. Erica walks on a stage and demands attention. That's just the way she is. That's how she's wired.
Pat the puss.
Pat the puss, baby. Pat the puss. Yeah. That's a great episode. Anyway.
Dorit, is your marriage strong?
So Erica says.
What? Okay. Erica's face is not moving. I'm telling you, guys. I was like, is she saying that? Dorit, is your marriage strong?
I just love all the reaction shots from the women.
What does that
And the
mean?
music. Dun, dun, dun.
Guys,
Guys, it's not.
Erica's in a new era. She's been Shawshanked. She's been through hell and back, and now she's in a place where she is arguably more comfortable than she was prior to the Tom and Girardi. So she's just gonna go for it. Right?
I'm here for it, honestly.
Is it strong?
Erica, how could you ask me that?
Now,
Of course it is.
question for you.
Okay.
If your marriage was strong, legitimately, you weren't
Okay.
deflecting, you weren't projecting, nothing. Your marriage was actually strong, and your friend said that. Would you give a fuck? Would you?
I think it would
Feel-
upset me, yeah.
It would, okay.
Yeah, I think that if they're my friend, if they don't know me, no, it doesn't bother me at all. But if they're my friend and they're saying that, yes, I think I would take offense to that. That would bother me. It would. If you're not my friend, no, I don't care. If you are my
But-
friend and you know us as a couple and you're saying that, yes, my feelings would be hurt and I would take offense to that. I would.
So here's what I'll say. I think Dorit's not necessarily looking at it as though it's intentional because Erica's looking for a come up. I don't think she thinks it's malevolent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that, like, if their marriage was fine, she wouldn't have this type of a reaction.
I think that's fair. But I also don't, okay, dare I sound like we're recapping Roni. I don't think that Erica and Dorit are friends like that, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I think they're friends, but they're not friends like Erica and Lisa Rinna.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask.
The same
because
way that,
are
like,
we-
if for whatever reason Erica got up there and said something about Lisa and Harry, Lisa would be pissed off because they're good friends and they know
do-
each other in a certain
I think
element
Lisa
like
is
that.
the bridge
So
in the friend group.
I think her saying that to Dorit, it would be like, let's put the shoe on the other foot. Let's pretend Kyle was asked the question. And Kyle got up there and said, oh, it's PK and Dorit. I think Dorit, regardless of her relationship, which we know is fractured, her relationship with BK, I think Dorit would be really offended and hurt if Kyle said something. I think this, because it's Erica, it's more about like the perception of it.
Sure.
And the fact that there probably are lots of cracks, lots of broken glass in the door of the relationship.
And the phone left out on the driveway.
The phone was thrown in the bush.
I'm telling you, I think that PK knows. Here's what I'll say.
That
I
was
don't.
actually shocking to me. when
Here's
you
what I'm
told
gonna
me
say.
that.
I don't think that PK knows like he's in on it, like he's part of it. What I think is that I'm wondering if he can.
He owed some money?
Correct. He can deduce.
And he
that-
was conveniently out of town when the house got broken into?
correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I'm not saying that he planned it. I think it's kind of happenstance. I guess what I'm saying is I can see him drawing the conclusion that the house being burglarized and specific things being taken, like all of her merchandise, right?
Yeah.
Her purses, her shoes, and all these things, that he could go and question, I may not know unequivocally, but this may have been perpetuated by my debts. But doesn't want
Specific price tag.
correct.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to say that. And of course is never going to say that, which is why I think that when we, come to find later that he's like over her PTSD, he's like, get over it. I just feel really bad for Drea. I just want her to get out. And she is. So it's
She's
exciting.
getting out, baby. The sentence is up.
She is getting
She's
out.
free.
So then we find out Sutton tells us, because Sutton knows all the gossip in Beverly Hills. She tells us that rumor
The rumor
is that PK had a lady in the car when he got pulled over for his DUI
Yeah.
and then got driven home by a cop.
By that woman. Oh, yes. By the cop.
That's what he said. He didn't actually get a DUI.
Yeah.
They let him off because it's Malibu.
But Teddy on Watch What Happens Live says, no, I saw the form. He was alone. I saw it.
Why?
I
Okay.
saw the form. Get the fuck out of here.
Doesn't that kind of feel weird? It's not to say that she didn't see the form, but it just feels like, why do you care?
Well, Andy was like, you saw the form?
What form?
You know I did, Andy.
I'm accountable, all in.
I've never felt more confident that a woman was in the car.
I think a woman was in the car. Because that's, by the way, Teddy, disservice. It did not behoove you to do this.
No woman.
I left that episode up in the air. There could have been a woman. There could have not been a woman.
Think about it.
And
I
neither
didn't
did
even
I.
care.
And then Teddy
And
gets
now
asked the
Teddy's
question.
like, I saw the form. No woman. I saw the police report. A woman.
You can't
There was
trust Sutton.
Definitely a woman.
She carries vodka in her purse 24/7.
God. That's what I mean. She came to that because nobody's inviting her to anything. So she came to that Watch What Happens Live with candid response. She was ready.
But she thought she was doing something with that comment.
But that's how
Sutton
pathetic she is.
has vodka 24/7.
And even yet, she's better than you.
Even if
That's
she
bad.
did, as far as
She's
we
better.
can see, it's not a problem, so who cares?
Fuck off.
She's
She's
trying
trying to disservice and discredit Sutton, is what she's trying to do.
correct, but it doesn't lead anywhere because
Because we don't care about you.
now if you said about Dorinda, that's different because
Because she has a problem.
yeah, I mean she gets very. God, she goes from 0 to 100 after 2 martinis.
Well,
and
we
and
see-
she can be mean, but we
listen,
don't know that about Sutton. We've
right,
never seen that about Sutton. So
right.
why
We
does Teddy
see Sutton
care?
drink, but the way that we see Dorinda drink is so fucking different. So yeah, exactly. Like if you make that comment about Dorinda, it means something different because we know Dorinda has an unhealthy relationship with alcohol.
Correct. But yeah, she's trying to
Whatever. Fuck
disrupt-
Teddy. Honestly, anything Teddy says, I go with the opposite. So Kyle, lesbian. Got it.
Guys, she did a tattoo. But she
Friendship?
knew that
Lesbian.
they could
hurts.
cover. That's how I know she's not gay.
What?
This woman thinks that like she's always
It was a press-on tattoo. I'm only gay for the weekend.
literally, but she's like 1 + 1 = 2. It's like, but that's not 1 and that's not 1. So that's not, you know what I mean? She's like
fucking
this,
forget
this
her.
exactly. But when she tries to tell, she just it makes sense in her head, but it makes sense to no one else. This is good. Got the tattoo. We can cover it. All right.
Well, moving on to Kyle. Or were we stopping somewhere else first?
I was gonna say Erica. We're gonna stop at Erica because Erica's next.
Oh, the breakdown.
Okay. What were your thoughts about this? She apologizes to the group. She was going through hell. It was rough. It was vicious.
Honestly, I loved the TV moment because it was very like she had the tears. She was in it. I've been rough and I've been nasty and I'm sorry. She did it for me. And I can't quite tell if she practiced or not. It didn't matter to me because I felt it, even though I didn't really believe it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I didn't believe it at all, but I felt it and I was okay with it. And I really want to be here for the performative Erica this season. I really do.
Okay.
I liked it.
Even if you don't think it lives in truth.
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
I mean, we just see in a few more scenes that she doesn't even know what empathy is. How do I get
I
empathy?
can't. We'll get
Is
there.
it? Can I buy empathy? Can I get it from a vending machine?
Can money buy you class? Can it buy you empathy?
So I don't believe it, but I appreciated it, guys. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes just saying the words
Okay.
matters.
So question for you, because you've pointed it out. I know this about you.
Okay.
You want people to be genuine. Sometimes I've noticed about you that if somebody's apologizing, you don't think it's real.
Okay.
It bothers you.
Yeah.
Is it the person?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably the
Okay, got it. So we're being unfair unjustly.
It's probably the person. It's probably the scenario. Yeah, all right. That's
No, I was
fair.
just curious.
I don't know.
Because I didn't know if you were just giving latitude to Erica's circumstance specifically, or just kind of depends.
I want to know what you think. I didn't see that moment from Erica and think, wow, she's worked, she's tried, she's done everything, and she's here. You know what I mean? I just felt like she was just kind of going through the motions. She said what she needed to say, and it was a little performative, is what I'm thinking it was.
Nasty.
And I liked the performance. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I liked the
You're
performance.
fine with the performance as
Yes.
long as it can be believable, whether you
Yeah.
believe it or not.
I don't believe it, but do I think it's believable to the women? Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, what do you think?
Um.
Let me punt it to you.
Well, I thought it was interesting because when she's saying all this, did you notice that she's not looking at anyone? She's kind of like
Well,
looking
she doesn't make
down
eye
and
contact
away.
very often. She really doesn't.
She Well, I feel like she does.
Not when she cries.
Don't you ever
She
fucking say that
doesn't-
about my son. Remember in Hong Kong?
Oh,
She makes eye contact.
fucking kill
She makes
you.
so much eye contact. Eileen feels
Well,
distraught.
I think there's the pre and the post, right? Like I
Okay.
think the post Tom stuff, she's
like pre-war
shamed.
and post-war.
Yeah, she's shamed, so she looks down.
Okay.
That's the takeaway I'm giving.
What did I think? I think she meant it to a certain degree, but I don't think that by and large she feels like she should have had to apologize.
Yeah. All right.
I think that she knows that she was probably wrong, but not significant enough where she has to address it. But I think that she knows that she has to.
Because people are coming at her, specifically Dorit. I
Well,
guess.
here's what I'll say: if she, and this is not to judge her, but if she has any confusions about empathy, I think a part of her might be confused on why she should apologize, but she can recognize through the response of either her friends or other people that, and not necessarily, I'm only doing it because they're saying this and I need to look good, but she can't understand what that feeling is because, again, as we see later, she's like, how do I get empathy, right? So I really do think that she's like, oh, I should probably apologize. Like, here's what I'll say. So if you have ASPD, which is antisocial personality disorder, you can't, it's not to say you don't have feelings at all, which it's a very nuanced thing. So anybody out there, I understand the disorder enough, but just hear me out. They don't understand feeling. They'll say something and they don't understand why somebody gets upset. So they have to learn through psychotherapy, hopefully if they have the ability to get there.
Yeah.
They have to learn through therapy how to mirror, because therapy is essentially teaching them how to work with their disorder, but more importantly, how to adjust to societal norms, because you kind of lack that ability to understand, like, you can laugh and be happy, but you don't understand like why somebody's
Why
upset.
you're laughing or
Correct.
why? Yeah.
So I think it's similar in that way, just from a characteristic standpoint, that I think that she may not understand why people are upset, or she gets it, but she doesn't understand the significance and the way that everybody else feels about it. But she also understands, I know that I don't feel that, right? I'm looking for empathy. I don't know that. But I can, again, surmise that I should say something, but
Yeah.
not strictly only because it has an ulterior motive.
Well, I think it's interesting thinking about Erica because even when we're first introduced to her and we get the really silly storyline of like Pantygate and stuff like that, but really Erica has always been very cold, very kind of understated, but kind of like very sharp. And it's interesting to see a situation like this with Tom, and a lot of it falls on her and people
Sure.
are judging her, blaming her. We see that a little bit later, even though she was, freed of everything that had to do with him, people still kind of blame her for certain things. Why did you spend the
Sure.
money? Why didn't you get the earrings? All that kind of stuff. We're seeing her in a specific way where maybe she's always been this type of person. Maybe
Correct.
she's always been someone who can't really show strong emotion, can't really understand why people feel the certain way they feel. We're just seeing it under a magnifying glass because it's a big situation.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Interesting.
I think that if you put them side by side, you would probably find a lot of parallels between Kyle's mom and Erica's mom.
Oh.
Erica, in her first season, explains to us. Actually, it's not her first season. It's the season that she gets Chicago. So it's the last. It's the same season with Denise, and
Okay.
she's really celebrating this achievement because she didn't think that she would get there.
Yeah.
And what really pushed her, and she says it, albeit it was very traumatizing and it was very damaging, but what really pushed me was the time that I was 11 and I was doing a certain dance move and my mom made fun of me. Then she goes on to say that my mother was very competitive with me.
Yeah.
So I do think there's an element there. Guys, a lot of people need therapy. Boomers need therapy. Okay. I think we would all find that there's probably a lot of,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on there. And I think that that's why Erica, by and large, is the way that she is.
Yeah.
If she can remember and recall that one time and that significantly changed her for the rest of her life, and then also layer in the fact that her mother was very competitive, her mother was mean, she sees it as an opportunity to, tear me down, but it's in an effort to build me back up. But I don't think that I don't think that that had as much benefit as sometimes I think that she will portray it, whether she realizes it or not.
Yeah.
But I do think that like those experiences, especially growing up with her mother, I'm sure her mother was still probably also very immature. It what it does is it kind of closed her off. I'm speaking from experience, guys. I wasn't allowed to show my emotions at all. So sometimes my friends would be like, what's going on? I feel like you don't tell me anything. And I'd be like, what? Like, of course I say everything. Or people will try to comfort me, and I've been like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
You know? So I do think that Erica is very that because she's never had the opportunity to really actually
conditioned that way.
process and externalize her feelings.
Yeah.
And she married somebody, again, similarly probably to her mother, who doesn't want to deal with that, and he doesn't deal with that. So again, she's in another position where she's not really being able to express how she actually feels, and we come to find out that in some of these seasons, do we really believe that her and Tom are doing great? He's never there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that kind of contributes to her
Yeah.
overall frigidness, if you will.
Just
Then we
like
can-
Kyle's.
To your favorite person, Kyle.
In Kyle's shoes. She's just, Kyle's confused. Kyle's confused and Kyle's hurt that nobody comforted her at the reunion. She didn't have the comforter that she thought she was going to have at the reunion.
And then they flash to the moments where she was trying to get somebody to comfort her, but instead
Nobody
of exactly, instead of explicitly asking, guys, I need comfort.
I can't talk.
I have a tear.
I
You see
can't,
it?
I can't breathe.
Andy, can I have a tissue?
Andy, I can't talk. Andy. Okay, all right. Well, Andy's like, okay, get your breath and we'll get back to it.
You remember? What do you want to do here? Kyle's a mess. Remember the reunion?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, what do you want to do?
Kyle's a mess.
Like it's
I was
Anderson
like,
Cooper.
my acting's working. It's working.
Seriously.
Well, what? I want to ask you. What did you think about her confession?
I didn't know that
feelings about the reunion in the circle of trust.
I gotta be honest. I validated. I understand. I did not pick up on that at the reunion. That's what she was trying to do, was garner somebody to comfort her. I don't think it's wrong or anything like that. I kind of said that kind of judgmental. I didn't mean it that way, but I didn't catch that. So this was new for me. I didn't know that we were here.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused with. See, this is where I'm confused, and you and I have talked about it. Where is her relationship strained with the women, or is it strained with Kathy? I'm lost because we end the
She
season.
teeter-totters.
Exactly. So
that's
we end.
why you're confused.
Yeah.
She has to play the hand that matters to her.
Last season we end, and it feels like justice was served. Kathy had to publicly apologize. She kind of bamboozles her with Rinna. She doesn't know she's going to be there, which I got to be honest, looking back on that, it's kind of fucked up. Okay. So I know.
You think so?
Yeah. So then we get to the reunion, and although she understands where the women are coming from, because at one point she did agree with them, right? Because they were on her side, right?
Yeah.
Kathy was saying nasty things about Kyle. Like, I'm gonna fucking ruin you. I'm gonna ruin NBC Universal, and I'm gonna ruin Kyle. Okay.
The two are the same.
She doesn't really acknowledge that Kathy did all those things, but at the same time, she kind of, in a weird way, she kind of scapegoats the women because she's like, just stop it. I'm okay with it. You have to be okay
You're
with
ruining
it.
my family. This is my family.
Exactly.
Where was that energy at the beginning of the reunion?
Well, that's why I was a little confused. I'm like, but,
Or the finale?
yeah.
Where was that energy when you invited Lisa Rinna over to your home? Where was that energy to be
Exactly.
like, Lisa, this is my family. I'd rather just not get into this.
She bit off more than she could chew.
Let's stop this, Lisa. Stop. Let's just not even get into this. What happened is everybody turned on her.
Well, she was also so mad at Kathy. She wasn't thinking clearly, and this backfired.
It did backfire bad.
And Kyle didn't talk to Kathy for, I swear to God, it was like 9 months.
Well, and I think there is an aspect here. We have to call a spade a spade. There's an aspect here that we don't have Rinna. That Kyle seems like she's kind of misfiring because she doesn't really have a target, right? We don't have a target. We don't have Lisa anymore. She does have Erica, but like she's not really gonna fire at Erica. So what we're getting instead is I really am disappointed because my friends, which I guess is Dorit and Sutton, which is a stretch. So I'm gonna actually eliminate that. I'm just gonna talk about Sutton.
Okay,
I'm
that
gonna
was
act-
another thing.
I'm
I
gonna
was
talk
like,
about
wait,
Dorit.
Sutton?
Yeah, that was weird to me.
It's not to say that y'all aren't friends, but I
But
also
to me,
thought...
just talk about Dorit because you and Dorit are friends. Okay, I get that. Like that to me, of the people that we have left, that's your person.
I'm sorry.
Is Dorit.
Here's what I'm going to say. Guilt by association. I know that Kyle didn't directly do anything to Sutton in any real way, except for, oh God, never mind, Garcelle's birthday party, but we won't talk about that. I was a little surprised that she was, called to arms with Sutton. I was like, what? You were such an asshole to her all last season. I would not have guessed that
Well, that's what
you
I'm
would be,
saying.
your bone to pick would be Sutton not comforting you. Why would she comfort you? I wouldn't have expected that at the reunion. Not to say that she wouldn't express comfort, but I mean, getting up out of her chair, going to the other couch, hugging her.
She has nobody. She
I know.
has Dorit. That's it. She doesn't have. She's not close to Garcelle. She doesn't even know what Crystal's name is. She is mad at Erica. She has nobody. Okay? She is on an island by herself other than Dorit. That's why I would have respected her a smidge more if she had just turned to Dorit, which also seems unorganic because you would have just had this conversation one-on-one with Dorit
That's
out
another
of the
thing.
retreat. But to tell Dorit, listen, you're my person. You're the person I'm closest with on this. Well, you can't say on the cat. You're the person I'm closest with in this group, and it really hurt my feelings when I was struggling, and you could tell that I was like defeated. You didn't even comfort me, although she did once we saw behind the scenes. But whatever. I'm trying to stand up for
Sure.
Kyle. Like you could have done this, you could have done that, but instead we have to get this blanketed statement of like. I was hurt because, you, Dorit, and you, Sutton, the two people I was close with.
Where was Kyle when everyone was calling her a cunt?
But here's the thing. What Kyle's not saying, what she's actually saying, but what she's not verbalizing, Kyle doesn't really need to be comforted. Kyle wanted to be stood up for.
Yes.
She wanted these two women to be like, you know what? Stop it, Kathy. Stop it, Lisa. Stop it. Kyle's had enough. Kyle's had it. Stop it. This is too much for Kyle. That's what Kyle wanted to do. Kyle didn't want to be comforted and coddled and hugged. She wanted these women to say, stop it. Kyle's had enough. Kathy, shut it down. Enough. But you know what? Sutton likes to party with Kathy. So Sutton's not going to say anything. I can't not stand Kyle.
Do I think that Sutton is still friends with Kathy so she can be invited to the party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Dorit's
Yeah,
deal?
I do.
What's Dorit's deal?
I don't know.
Exactly. Petrified pizza. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it just felt...
She's the victim. She's always the victim. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. She has to be the victim. She has to blame others. Everything is done to her. Nothing is done to herself.
Well, that's what I mean. So now we're here, and now it's shifted a bit. Now she understands Kathy's, contribution to the strained relationships she has with her friends. I'm lost.
Take responsibility.
Are you on the side of justice, Lisa Rinna, Erica, et cetera, or are we don't say anything because I need to work on my relationship with Kathy and it's strained right now? I haven't talked to her in 6 months. Or is it now I understand that, Kathy's the reason why my relationships are strained with the women. I didn't know. This was new to
D,
me.
all the above. But then also E, none of the above.
Well, that's what Garcelle says. She's like, I'm
Throw
confused.
the test away. Exactly. Of course you're confused.
Because Kyle wasn't
Because
going
Kyle
for
is a
or
flip-flopper.
confronting.
Kyle has to turn the narrative how it benefits Kyle. That's always been her MO. Always.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Well, we get a little bit more of an insider scoop to Kyle. She's coming to realize, is she in therapy? She must be. Because this is where she's like, my relationship is strained with my sister, and I'm starting to realize that I'm kind of like the crutch. I'm kind of this, I'm kind of that. I'm criticized. I have to feel this. And it makes her feel like a little child, even though she's an adult. I get that. I felt that.
I
This
just don't know
entire,
that-
I felt it all.
This is the first time we're seeing Kyle verbalize that type of stuff. I feel like Kyle
feel like we
always
haven't talked-
maybe not with Kathy, but we've definitely seen it with Kim where she feels like she's the caretaker. Kathy may be different.
Yes, but with Kim, it makes sense because Kim is an addict.
Right.
Explaining to everyone how you feel in terms of where you land in the hierarchy of your family dynamic is so nuanced that I think sometimes that's hard to explain. Like similarly to Monica. A lot of people think that Monica on Salt Lake City was an asshole to her mother. I don't think she was because I can
No, I don't think so either.
recognize the issues, right? So with Kyle, I understand it. I really did connect. And guys, it's not because I'm a Kyle sympathizer. I promise you. But I understood it because I've been talking about this for years. I talked about it
I guess
last
that's
year.
why it
when
doesn't
we
feel new to
recapped.
me. Maybe that's why it doesn't feel new to me at all.
No, it shouldn't because for years we've been talking about it, and I talked about it last season when we
too.
recapped. I said, guys, if you really want to understand Kyle, really understand the Richard sister dynamic.
Yeah. I don't think she's in therapy, though.
Okay.
I don't.
Well,
I don't think much has changed other than maybe
tattoos, Piercings.
extracurricular activities.
pants with holes in them.
Yeah. I don't, yeah. Something's changed, but it's not therapy. So.
Well, they get up, they hug each other. That's it. Guys, new beginnings.
Yeah, exactly.
It's top heavy because the all cast event is at the beginning
It's
of
a
the
lot.
episode.
It's a lot.
Well, then we release ourselves from the retreat, and then we get into personal scenes.
Yes. And then we changed the channel. Just kidding. I liked some of these. I did.
So we see Sutton at her store. Her BFF, guys, Jennifer Tilly.
Love. I mean, I think it might be too much to ask to have her be in the cast, but I'm kind of hoping that we get a little bit of a friend of, meaning like a couple episodes, at least like a few episodes where we get Jennifer, because I think
Where she's really participating.
Yeah, she has fun texture and she's kind of quirky and oddball and she's an interesting like combination with Sutton. I think it's going to be
Another
fun.
actress.
Well, an actual actress that's been in
Oh yeah,
she's in movies.
She's in the Bride of Chucky.
She's in all the Chuckies, really.
Yeah, guys, that show's 98% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
And she's in a bunch of like sci-fi horror movies.
That's
too.
kind of her. That's kind of her
yeah,
jam.
it is.
She's really cool.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Guys, she's a professional poker player.
Oh, she is?
Oh my god.
Oh, I didn't know
Did
that.
you not know that?
No. That makes her even more interesting. Holy shit.
I think her earnings last
got
year were like $1
goosebumps.
million, maybe, or maybe
Because of poker?
she's a professional poker player.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
Wow, I'm kind of turned on. No, I did not know that at all.
Yeah,
no.
she's professional and she is good. She's a very good poker player.
Damn. Take that, Ben Affleck.
Also, question for you: do you know how old she is? Because I think I'm gonna blow your
No.
mind. She's 65.
Okay. I like that you asked and you didn't even give me a chance to answer. She has to blow your mind. She's 65.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking asshole.
I honestly, I would have guessed like 57. So,
really?
yeah. So 65, I am blown.
She does not feel 65 to me.
No, she doesn't. She feels like in her mid 50s to me.
Yeah, I would guess like 55, 54.
Wow, she looks great. How old
Yeah.
is Sutton?
I think
She's in her 50s, right?
She's Kyle's age. She's 53.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I bought a horse. I'm half Texan.
She's half Texan, guys. I like that she had to say that as if that's why she had to buy the horse. Because, guys, Texans ride horses.
Do you understand that I had couch surfers from California who came to stay with me during college?
Okay.
So couch surfing, guys, if you guys remember what couch surfing was, you had a membership. And in a lot of ways, it was very similar to how you you can switch houses with somebody in traveling. But if you saw on the map that there are people who are registered couch surfers, you could travel to the United States, you could rubber hoof it and stay at people's houses for free. It feels very unsafe. I can't believe this was a thing, but it was. So these guys from California came to come stay with me when we were at UNT, and they legitimately thought that people in
I know.
Texas
Rode horses.
rode horses.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny about that is that the first night that they're there in town, I'm laughing at the absurdity, at the notion that we do this, right?
Yeah.
And they're not the first people that I've run into who think this.
No, I've come across my own.
So we're walking to Sweetwater, which is this restaurant in Denton.
On the square.
It's on the square. And as we're walking up, I shit you not, 2 people on horses show up to the
God.
bar with tecates in their hands because it's not driving or,
Yeah.
you know, operating something, with,
Uh-huh.
you know. So, guys, it's real.
Fine motors. Yeah, God.
She's leasing the horse on her Amex card.
Yeah. Responsible.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Oh, and she has a house manager.
Mm-hmm.
Guys,
What's his
we're
name?
so-
Avon?
Avi.
Avi.
Yeah.
He says that he's also the house of operations. He does everything in Sutton says, pipe it down, I'm on camera.
You're my assistant. On camera, you're my assistant.
Pipe it.
In real life, you're my house manager.
My everything.
It sounds like he does everything for
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Everything.
I would like to have a little piece of that pie.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't want to do everything, but I could do some things. Because here's the thing, is I feel like Sutton, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Sutton would be the kind of person that if you're employed by her and like you do your job, like I think she treats you very well.
Oh,
is what I would assume.
I think so. Very similar to
right?
Camille.
Camille.
Grammar. Donatachi.
Oh.
Remember? No? Okay.
Well, we're on
She
different
always-
sides of the coin on Camille, but does Camille treat her
She-
employees well?
She does.
Okay.
Remember, she had a whole staff and she always had people.
When she was with
assistants
Kelsey.
with Kelsey, but also she maintained that after the fact.
Okay. All right. I can believe
She
that.
essentially, I felt like, paid for people's salaries and they really didn't do much.
Okay.
So that's
Well, I
Sutton,
just
guys.
just
She's a
feel like Sutton,
philanthropist.
yeah, Sutton,
She's a gift giver.
Sutton, like, unlike a Jen Shaw, like, will take care of you. If you do your job and do well, like, she'll
She will.
fit the bill.
Guys, she also takes care of her friends. Do you see this lunch that she has set up?
I know.
in her
How
store?
can we be friends? How can we be a Jennifer Tilly?
Well, I think that she's taking lessons from one Pat Altschul.
Oh my
Because
God.
they're friends.
The duo that I am dying to see.
So they're both on a list of people who have been named the hostess of the year, but it's high society blue blood shit.
Yeah.
They're the only 2 people that are in the Bravo universe that have ever even come close to even being nominated and or being awarded
Yeah,
this.
who else would it be?
And it's so funny because it's Pat and Sutton, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I shit you not. I think she watches Southern Charm. She's really good friends with Pat, and I think she got the idea to do this really fancy lunch in her store from Pat because Pat does this. The
I love
picnics,
it.
you know what I mean?
I love it. Yeah.
The McDonald's on the silver.
But it makes sense because it feels authentic to who Sutton is.
It feels so authentic to who she is.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, basically, Sutton just wants to prove to the ex-husband
She can do it on her own.
she's got this.
She doesn't want to be bound to $300,000 a month.
Spousal support.
Okay, so
I wish.
I mean,
Do we think we can write Sutton's ex-husband and say, forget about Sutton, give us the $300,000 a month? Fuck. Every 6 months, give us $300,000.
give me liberty or give me death. She does not want to be
Death.
bound. Okay, she wants the freedom. So I understand the argument. I understand the fight. I get it. I was like, yeah, I'm with you. Until she reveals at the end that the thing that she wants liberation from, well, it's what? $300,000. I'm like, Sutton. What?
Well, this is interesting because I feel like this is Sutton's. Is this her 3rd season as a full cast member? Yeah, 3rd, right? It is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we don't know anything about her. And I felt like that for a while. Like last season, we got to meet, I think, one of her kids, and we got to meet the dog, which is all I really care about, the Labrador that she got. But really, other than Sutton's business and other than like we know a little bit about her upbringing and we do know a little bit about the ex-husband, but we really don't know much about her background.
No.
I don't think. So this was actually an insight on like financially kind of her background that I did not know. But I feel like she wants so badly to be like, I am woman, hear me roar. I've done this by myself. I've got this. I don't need this anymore. But yet, you know, she has been given a lot.
It's interesting because she has talked about her family. You know, her dad, I think he passed away
He
from,
did, remember?
from suicide.
Yeah.
Which I think really affected her in a lot of ways. Her first season on the show, the intention was to have her as a full-time housewife, not a friend of. But her husband would not sign off on allowing the kids to be on camera, which in a lot of ways, I guess it really kind of depends on the type of cast member you are and what you contribute to the show. It can really have ramifications. It can have, you know, it
Yeah,
won't.
but her kids are older, so
They are, but what it does is it allows the housewife to have more texture. It's the same thing with Jen Fessler. So in
Right.
order to to see the kids, that's kind of what did her in, because not being able to see the kids on the show, it reduced her to a friend of.
Yeah. I know,
So-
but I would argue that we don't really ever see, even last season, we don't see much of her family at all.
We don't.
We see one scene with the daughter, and
So
that's it.
the first season, I'll give latitude to, but yes, you're not wrong, because
Yeah.
it feels like it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Like we really are trying to like get there, and we kind of don't.
Yeah.
And this is
I'm just saying, this scene was actually like, I feel like my first insight to really financially kind of like what is going on with her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
well, we find out that her and her ex built this business together. Now, I do think that Sutton does come from family money.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we know that, yeah.
We do. I just didn't. I was just shocked by the 300,000. Were you not? Were you?
No,
floored?
I was. A month.
Till when?
I don't know how old the kids are.
She also got the house in LA, the house in Venice, and the house in Augusta.
I think that is the purpose of this scene, though, is that she's gained all of this, but she needs to let us know that she's valuable on her own.
Yes.
When they were married, when they met, they were equal.
Mm-hmm.
They both worked. She made a point of telling us that. And then, of course, when she got pregnant, he was like, no, you're going to stay at home. You're going to be the mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this scene was kind of to set up, even though we've known Sutton now for a handful of years, this scene is to set up that, yes, she's getting all this extra stuff, but she is powerful on her own. She's financially stable on her own without this $300,000 a month, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm
Essentially.
getting.
Guys, Sutton, circa
Give it to me, though.
1969. That's her store name.
God.
Well, because her store's, it's really doing well, which I think is what kind of
And
dovetails
it always
into this
looks
conversation.
like it is doing nothing. But it just has to be so high end.
It's
right?
very high end.
Because every time I look at it, I'm like, what?
It's
Ugh.
very, very high
So,
end.
I mean, obviously she's doing something right. I mean, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, but it looks like no place I would ever step foot in.
No. I'm not shocked, but I also at the same time was shocked that she was given an
It's
allowance.
just a lot of money.
Well, she was given an allowance by her husband, and then
I'm not shocked by that.
yeah, but he also like financially punished her. He would take away the allowance.
Well, there's a reason they got divorced.
Yeah, it always baffles me when I
If-
hear things like this about
If
relationships.
you're
I'm like,
going
what?
to, if everything she says we believe to be true, you marry someone, y'all are equal footing, you get pregnant, and she did not tell the story as if I got pregnant and we made the decision it would make more sense for me to stay
told
home
her.
and raise the kids. He told me I'm staying home. If this is the man telling you you're going to stay home with the baby, this is the man that's going to give you an allowance and is going to punish you. Absolutely.
So she got $1.2 million in cash. I went through the properties: LA, Augusta, and Venice. Guys, the Augusta house is what it's what gains her access to the Masters. If anybody's familiar with golf.
the golf stuff.
Yeah, these are guys. What she got in the divorce is big time. She got vehicles and a Vespa, partial stake in 2 minor league baseball teams, 44% stake in a lumber company, and Amex reward points.
Okay.
She made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
But then I Googled the net worth of her ex-husband. $500 million.
What does he do?
I think, honestly, I was Googling this earlier and I was looking into it. He starts businesses and he oversees them, and I think he was, they would sell them, and what he does now I think is a little different. It's not different, but it's what he does, but I feel like it's more stability.
Okay.
All I know is that he's $500
He's
million.
worth a lot.
Yeah, so it makes sense that it makes sense for the
$300,000 a month.
That's
the least he could
I think
do.
it's a little over $3 million a year just in spousal support.
Yeah. Wow.
And the house is probably worth $25 million in real estate.
Damn.
Yeah. But she doesn't feel guilty.
She
Put in the
shouldn't.
work,
She shouldn't.
but wants something of her own. My own.
My own.
Jennifer agrees.
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly, it's so funny.
I know.
She's proud of her.
Proud of you.
If all else
Set.
fails, she's going to give her entire bag of poker. Gonna rake it in.
I would love to see these two women on vacation together. I'm here for it.
I love following their journey on Instagram.
Oh, I don't do that.
You should follow them.
Fun?
Yeah, they're fun.
Okay.
All right, guys. Erica's in therapy. Dr. Laura.
Dr. Jen. Well,
Oh,
actually,
I fucked that up.
she's Dr. Mann, but
Who's Dr. Laura? Did I mess that up?
yeah, you fucked it up. I don't know who Dr. Laura is. That's probably one of the other therapists on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a therapist behind the scenes.
Well, by the way, I'm familiar with Dr. Jen. I don't know why I'm calling her Dr. Laura.
Did she look like a lawyer? A Laura? To you?
No, but I think that I worked with a therapist that was a Laura. Anyway, I
Guys,
digress.
anyway, Dr. Jen makes an appearance last season, but only on screen, like on Zoom or FaceTime. I have a little bit of a hard-on for Dr. Jen. I think
Okay.
they call her Dr. Mann, and this must be her last name. But if anybody doesn't know, I call her Dr. Jen, so Jen obviously is her first name. She was the therapist on the VH1 hit show called Couples Therapy.
Guys.
And it was only on for maybe like 4 seasons or something, but our own Alex McCord and what was his name?
Simon?
Simon
Yeah,
went on
they
it.
were on it.
Anyway, I love this woman.
She's synonymous with this in the industry. She goes on a lot of reality shows,
Oh,
and I
I'm
think
in
that
love with her.
I think that she did other shows.
She probably did.
Yeah, outside of Marriage Boot Camp, where she plays this role. I worked with her once.
Was she cool?
I was filming. Yeah, she was nice. I was filming Life
was
with
nice, okay.
Latoya, with
Oh,
Latoya
yeah,
Jackson.
yeah. Okay.
And she showed up to Latoya's like announcement that she was getting married.
Oh, okay.
Her and a lot of other. It was weird because maybe
She
they
probably
worked
was on-
together.
well,
Yeah,
she was probably on one of the seasons of Couples Therapy. I would imagine.
I'd imagine. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, they're in Erica's backyard. She and Dr. Jen.
When we say they, like the both of them are there, but she's on FaceTime.
Well, no, well now she's
No,
here.
I.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no, 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 I know. I know.
But before she was on FaceTime. But yeah, Erica's backyard, and Erica's opening up.
She feels better that there's no more indictment,
Yes.
but it doesn't stop people from assuming the worst about her. She spent the money. I mean, are we assuming the worst
It was
or these
quite a
facts?
downfall. It was a downfall. Yeah, no shit.
We saw.
God, we saw the downfall in front of our eyes. I don't care about anybody, but
She came. She saw.
Me.
She conquered.
What did she conquer though?
Stumbling out of the bar to get to the Aspen House to go to the hotel.
Holy night. Yeah. But yeah. Dr. Jen's she's being like, yeah, it was a downfall, and listen, you and Tom, I know y'all aren't together, but when he dies, which let's get to
Okay,
that. When he
did you-
dies, it's gonna be hard for you.
Did you
You're
feel
gonna
like
be
we
sad.
just? How did we get here?
I don't
I felt like
know.
it was just very like, when Tom dies, you're gonna be sad. You're gonna grieve. I'm like, wait, how did we get
This
here?
is the classic of like, I'm sure she was there for like an hour and a half, and they had to condense it down. But Erica's the one that makes me laugh because Erica's like, oh God, what? You think it's gonna be hard?
He's older. Yeah.
She goes,
we
I
know.
just think it's gonna be sad for you. Oh, it is. Yes, Erica, it's gonna be sad. Come on.
He's older.
He
30
is-
years. He's gonna
he
die
is-
first.
Is he gonna die before I am? It's just like, oh my God.
Here's what I'll say about there being such a age difference is that oftentimes I feel like when, especially with women, because I'm thinking of them specifically, friends of mine or colleagues who are dating somebody that much older.
Yeah.
In the moment, it resonates, but I don't think the full scope of how much older they are really like sets in until you get older. Because when you're essentially in your prime, Erica's in her 50s, but she's in her prime to me, right?
Yeah. It's all about your life.
Your husband's 80.
Right. And dementia, apparently. So
We're laughing at that. I'm only laughing because I feel like people think that he's lying about that, so you can get a lesser prison sentence. Sorry, it's like you're demented.
he's demented. Okay. He's living in a corner.
Well, I think that she's trying to work through her bereavement with him as he is alive, separating herself from the relationship she once knew.
Here's the deal. If we want to really break it down, like Erica, the past 2 seasons, and I guess I should really say the past season, she hasn't really, and guys, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but as we see it on TV, she's not really mourning any of the relationship with Tom. She's not mourning really that Tom's, in a home and Tom's going to be and die, all this stuff. She's really focused on herself and the shit show of what her life is. Meh. Of like the outcome of what's going on, right?
The
So
aftermath.
I think now that things have settled and she's actually kind of been cleared, I think now she can kind of sink into like, holy shit, like my marriage is over. Tom is living in a home and he's going to be in diet. Like all this
Yeah.
stuff I think is actually sinking in when she can feel it in a real way.
Well, yeah,
and it's
because-
kind of spooky to her.
Despite her depression, you're also running on adrenaline. You're just trying to get through the next
Yes,
thing, next
as she
trial,
says.
next indictment, next this,
As she
next
says
diamond.
in that,
I'm gonna turn
the
on.
retreat, she's
Yeah.
like, it just kept coming at me. And I just had to keep reacting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that there's truth there to that.
Yeah. She wants to be a better friend.
She wants to have, what's the word? Rhymes with sympathy, but what's it called? What's it called?
How do I get that?
How do I get can I buy a word for $100? Empathy. What the fuck was this moment? What I didn't know she was doing a bit. I literally turned to my sister and I was like, is she a sociopath? Like I don't understand what's happening here with her being like, well, what is empathy? How do I get that?
Okay, before we get there, I just want to make a public service announcement.
Okay.
She is no longer taking her Lexapro and drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
so
We
we're
got
good.
that.
We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got that. Yeah. No holy night anymore. We got that.
What the fuck was going on? Okay, so I always want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
The way that I took it initially, I legitimately felt like she was asking. It was a real question
No, I
coming from
did
a very
too.
real place.
No, I did too.
But in watching it again, I allowed there to be a little latitude to, was she asking more rhetorically? Like, she understands what empathy is. She's experienced it before, but given everything that she's experienced the last 2 years, the last 3 years, and with everything coming at her, I was more wondering, perhaps she's asking the question as a figure of speech rhetorically. Like, how do you get that? How do you get that after all these years, Because when these things happen to you, you're kind of left a little dismantled, and it's hard not to see the forest for the trees. It's hard not to see wanting to rebuild yourself or recover first because you've been through so much. Whether you think that she's been through a lot, the privilege, whatever, we have to just acknowledge that for her, it was a lot. And if you're having to go through that and you're processing, it's kind of hard to get back to that place where maybe perhaps you would have empathy and you would understand what that is because you're just running on adrenaline. Okay.
I know.
So let's go back to she's actually asking.
I took it as the former.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Only because Dr. Jin was like, well, you
Put yourself.
literally like the definition, like you put yourself in your friend's position in their lives and their footsteps, and you try to understand where they're coming from, their perception and their perspective and all this stuff. To me, it was.
How do I get that?
I honestly thought like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like I didn't know what was going on. I did not think about it like, Erica's just thinking, how do I get there now after everything I've gone through? Something happened to me in that moment. I was like, what the fuck is going on with Erica?
That also took time. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, she's really. I'm not saying that I don't still agree with that. I do think that it is that. However,
That's
I'm
troublesome.
trying to be objective, and I'm watching again. I'm like, oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to be fair.
I was troubled.
Well, I felt that too. She's legitimately asking.
I just don't know.
But here's the problem. I don't think her mother allowed her to express
I know.
her emotions.
Well, and honestly, now I'm trying to like go through my mind of like past moments of seasons where we've seen her show real empathy, and I don't want to say we haven't because I don't know. I would have to go back and really watch, but like nothing is jumping out on the top of my mind being like that was a moment where Erica showed real empathy for somebody. I don't know.
Here's an example where I think she could have shown empathy.
She didn't.
And she didn't.
Oh,
Even
okay.
though I agreed with her and I felt that she was in the right. Going back to what you were saying earlier, when Lisa confronts her about the letter in the Bahamas.
Oh,
Do I think that Lisa's correct in that? Not necessarily. I really don't.
No.
I think that Erica legitimately sent that, expressing my
Her
condolences.
intention was good. It came from
Absolutely.
the intention of that's what I did. I felt it was appropriate, and I stand by my intention.
Exactly. So Lisa criticizing that and it not being what she needed in that moment, I think was a little bit of a stretch. But this is a moment where she snaps at Lisa. She could have shown a little bit more empathy.
Yeah. Well, even think about this earlier scene at the retreat when Dorit's like, my feelings were hurt that you said this about PK and me. Instead of her initial reaction to be like, well, I'm sorry, Dorit. I get that. I could see
Is
that.
your marriage
And
strong?
Instead, she was like, well, Dorit, they asked me the question. I didn't want to answer it.
Well, she said it was an explanation.
It was an explanation. But still, instead of just off the bat being like, I'm sorry, Dorit, you're right. Instead, they asked me, I was uncomfortable. A showman.
Well, yeah, we saw. We know.
We saw.
We saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are those
Right.
moments, and here's the thing: does she express sympathy? Does she feel bad for people? Sure, but you're right. I don't know. When she's really ever put herself in someone else's shoes that we've seen on the show.
No, I don't think so. So keep working with Dr. Jin. I want to see Dr. Jin in every episode.
Yeah.
That might be unpopular. I know that we won't get that, but I'd like to see Dr. Jin at least a few more times.
Well, I think
selfishly for myself.
Guys, I think that there's a theme here this
What?
season. The women are finding their identity.
Okay.
Dorit feels a certain type of way with PK. She's kind of coming into her own. He's not around as much. The same thing with Mauricio. It's allowing these women to kind of explore themselves and
Stay in the
understand-
house without being a wife, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
see their lives through a different lens.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of ways, although they're feeling a certain type of way about their husbands not being around, right? They want to spend more time with them. But in a lot of ways, I think it's also doing them a service.
Yeah.
Because they have to figure it out on their own. And figuring it out on your own is tricky and it's hard. So I do think that that's a theme. We're going to see Garcelle trying to figure it out being a mom and trying to figure out what that looks like with raising her kids, given how they feel.
Teenagers.
Exactly. We're going to see that with Erica. She's in search of her identity again. Post
Tom, post
Tom.
everything. Yeah.
Dorit, well, PK's gone. He's not here, et cetera, et cetera. She's still got the PTSD. She's doing this, and she's going to start figuring herself out, and ultimately we get to the place where they're going to get divorced. And Kyle, it's the same. I think that that's the theme. Sutton, she's looking for her identity outside of her ex. That, to me, is the overall theme of this episode. They're each in search of selves outside of.
Yeah. And then there's Crystal.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's Crystal looking for?
Nothing. She's looking for her speaking line.
We're looking
on
for
the
Rob.
show. Rob, what's my line?
so sorry.
Line, Rob, line. No, but she's
She just wasn't
invisible in this episode.
She was not in this episode at all.
No, she wasn't. But anyway,
So
where are
alright.
we next?
Kyle comes over to Dorit's.
Oh, yes. Yes.
For dinner.
Dorit makes a little pizza, or she heats up something, and PK goes, I think she will only win a glass of water. Water.
Water and XX till prom.
Skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
guys,
when
that's never been kissed.
Oh yeah.
Remember, we have to tell them.
Yeah. Sorry. Water and XX till prom is
Never
a
been
line
kissed.
from Never Been Kissed. So,
What are your takeaways from this scene when Kyle gets there? First of all, guys, I've done things where I drink. Honestly, I'm a little bit more like when I'm doing dry months and stuff like that, and I want like a something that feels like alcohol. I tend to go a little bit more towards like beer, because I feel like the imitation of like a non-alcoholic beer actually tastes like beer. I've also gone the spirits way, and I've tried like some tequila that's not really alcohol, and it's horrific. So
Wait, what do you mean?
well, like
Tequila that's not really
well, like
alcohol.
non-alcoholic tequila. They have
Oh.
brands and stuff that do that. But so when
What?
PK was like,
What does that taste like?
It's awful. It's awful. I've only done the tequila one, but when PK was like, I have some non-alcoholic gin, I was like, oh,
Remember?
because he was gonna offer that to Kyle.
Wasn't it PK and Dorit who had the non-alcoholic pink champagne?
Who was it? Non-alcoholic?
Yes.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Was it
I don't
them
know. I
or
don't
somebody
know.
on OC? I'll have to look that up.
I
but
don't know. Well, it might make sense if it was them, because he goes, maybe I'll, because they know that she's not drinking. So PK was like, maybe, and this is before she got there, maybe I'll offer her the non-alcoholic gin, which sounded just like, maybe one of like,
just-
I don't know.
I'm so obtuse. I didn't realize that they made non-alcoholic gin. That just feels.
Well, they make non-alcoholic everything. So
I
they
know, but
have-
no one likes. Who's
Well,
drinking gin on the rocks?
I know, but I'm a big tequila person. But the non-alcoholic tequila, it's just like, to me at that point, just drink like soda water.
But
You
no,
know
no,
what I
but
mean?
that's I'm agreeing with
making
you.
the comparison to beer, I've had non-alcoholic like IPAs, and it really it
tastes-
tastes like it could be a beer.
Yeah.
So it's much more comparable, I think. But yeah, Kyle gets there. She takes the water.
She's 7.5 months. hasn't had a drop of alcohol. I don't
Well,
want to say
so-
sober because I don't want to get confused. But yeah,
she hadn't had
hasn't.
alcohol in 7 months. What's your take on this?
Well, like, how do I feel about it?
Yeah, well, I want to know what you think about this and her reasoning for saying that she hasn't had alcohol.
I just don't think that she's been drinking. I do think, I mean, I haven't had, it's weird. I drink so much during the pandemic and I just hardly drink anymore. It's just bizarre. I didn't think that that was the reason why she has stopped drinking because of her behavior at Garcelle's party. I didn't think, guys, she's really throwing me for a loop. There are a lot of surprises in this episode.
She thought she knew her. She knows nothing at all.
I do. I still don't like Kyle. But when she said that that was the reason or it played a part, it's not that I didn't buy it. I was just like, why weren't you appalled at your behavior?
All season? I mean, all series long?
Yeah, and sometimes I understand that you have to watch yourself sometimes, but look, she acquiesced at the reunion. She understood that her behavior was bullshit. I mean, remember when she was like, "I don't believe you, Sutton. First time I ever heard you had a miscarriage."
Oh, I know, that was horrific.
I mean,
Well,
she was
she was
shitty.
terrible. She was terrible.
She was terrible.
But Kyle loves to blame it on the alcohol. Baby, that's you. You're terrible.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
That is not her. Okay,
not?
fine, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay,
thank
move on.
you.
We're moving on.
All right, here's what I'm
I
going
mean,
to say.
yeah, I was gonna say, what did you
Well,
think?
here's what I'm going to say is that her reasoning, I think, would be easy to be like, oh, good, yeah, Kyle needs to take a
Sure.
break because she was horrific last year with the alcohol. But we could say that. What about the very first season when she's crawling towards Kim in the limo? You sucking wife in the air. You know, it's like, why didn't you take a break from alcohol then?
Here's what I'm gonna say about
Well-
Kyle Richards. This is a hallmark of her personality. If there are times where it could be perceived that she's taking accountability, she never gets there on her own.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's why she has Teddy, the accountability
Like, here's the
coach.
thing. Shut the fuck up. It's so funny to me. You know Teddy does not put her in her place. Does she keep her accountable?
No.
Absolutely fucking
That's why they're
not.
friends, enablers.
Yeah. I've never known Kyle to go, you know what? I've seen the error of my ways. I've been introspective enough to go, God, I was horrible and it was this.
Exactly. She's never done that.
No, because again, what you were saying earlier, she likes to be in control. Very much like Erin, she doesn't like the criticism. Not because she can't handle it, but I think that seeing anything outside of what she thinks is controlled and put together is scary. It's a scary place.
Okay, I think that's true. So
I'm agreeing with you.
So here's also kind of where, without knowing anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without knowing anything beyond a shadow of a doubt, here's kind of what I think it is more of.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I looked this up because I was very interested, Morgan is sober. She struggled with a lot of substance abuse. She doesn't drink anymore. And when I saw that scene, I said, I wonder if, without even knowing,
That's
I
right.
said, I wonder if Morgan is sober.
She is. I knew that. I guess I should have
And
known that.
not that it has to be correlated, y'all, but I did think that that was something really specific, that they're spending a lot of time together, and now Kyle's not drinking. I also think it has to do a lot with Kyle control, and Kyle wants to feel good about herself. I do think that there is truth when Kyle's like, I want to feel good physically and I want to feel good spiritually. I want to cleanse myself. I think there's a part of Kyle, and this has to go with maybe the workout stuff, that she wants to feel hot as fuck. She wants to feel good about herself, and she wants to feel like on top of the world.
Yeah.
So I don't buy for a fucking second that we're not drinking because of last season, because if that's the case, we don't need to be drinking after every season, right? That's how I feel. I think this has to actually do more with Morgan Wade. She spends a lot of time with Morgan Wade. Morgan Wade is sober. Maybe it's a solidarity. Maybe she just, and also guys, Kyle to me is not a big drinker. Kyle drinks, she's social and stuff like that, but it's not a Drenda, right?
No,
So
she's
it's
not a heavy
like
drinker like
she's-
that. By and large, none of the women on Beverly
Guys, we're
Hills
not here to
are.
diagnose anybody.
No,
but
no,
like,
no.
she's not someone that I've ever thought had ever had any type of
don't-
issue with alcohol. So
Coping,
me, Kyle,
yeah.
like not drinking doesn't really mean much to me, because to me, she'll just drink here and there socially. But so if she's hanging out with someone, whether they're romantically involved or whether they're not,
It's habitual.
She's hanging out with someone who is
Yeah.
sober. I think out of respect, if you're not a big drinker, you're not going to drink with your friend that's sober, because why would you? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think that honestly that has more to do with it, and her just wanting to feel good and cleanse. And if she is having problems with Mauricio, which we know that she is, she probably does want to start feeling good about herself, because maybe she's not getting that from Mauricio,
Well-
which she used to get. Mauricio probably always made her feel sexy and wanted and desired, and she's not getting that, so she has to feel that with herself.
I gotta be honest, I think not drinking, especially for as long as she hasn't been drinking at this point where we're at in the show, I think I think it's ultimately kind of what perpetuated her thoughts about maybe I shouldn't be in this marriage. Because when you're clear like that, you really
That's what she said at the
you s-
end.
Oh,
I'm
she
very
did?
clear.
Oh, you see the world so differently. I'm telling you.
The last
Oh, I didn't realize
scene.
she said that.
It's the last scene. I'm just very clear. I'm very clear.
That's what she means.
She said to Mo.
I think that
Whoa,
it's
I
not-
didn't think about it that way just
Yes,
until you said
I
that right
think
now.
that her not drinking, guys, because it's what it is. If you talk to anybody who, uses alcohol to cope, they're addicted, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that you just become so much clearer.
Yeah.
You can make decisions. You're not as. It's not to say dysregulated in the sense that Kyle doesn't know how to handle her emotions. I think that does
Right.
happen, but I mean that in the sense that you just know how to regulate yourself. You can understand why you're feeling a certain type of way. I do
Yeah.
think it's made her more clear. And this is where, we find out that she's not going to let anybody treat her like shit anymore. That's what she tells Dorit. And
I get it. I get it. I understand. Okay. Okay.
Not mistreated by anybody.
Especially Kathy, my sister.
Yeah.
And Kathy's ignoring her, so yeah, Kathy's not treating you like anything because she's not talking to you. But okay.
She's the little sister and she's been accustomed to being treated like shit. I've been saying this for years, guys. I'm glad that Kyle's here. I don't think that Kyle didn't recognize this in the past, but I think that she excused it. I think that she placated. I think she said, it's this or it's Kathy or it's Kim. I understand. I think that this is the year where she's freeing herself from the chains that bind her to this family dynamic. I'm being dead serious.
Well, I hope you're right.
It's toxic as fuck.
Then we can't keep talking about Kathy and Kim. If she really wants to free herself and
Okay.
break free, then be independent and go your own way.
Cool your jets, Turbo.
Fleetwood Mac, go your own way.
This is the first episode. I understand.
right,
I
all right.
understand that the argument can be made that why is she still talking about them? We need to know what's going on though. So
I'm just saying that I don't.
if she continues to talk about this in episode
Here.
10, I'm gonna be we need to be done.
Honestly, it has nothing to do with the sisters because I think her path forward is going to be with Mauricio and finding her independent outside the marriage. I don't think it has anything to do with the siblings. All I'm going to say is from seasons past, a lot of her story and background is about the siblings. That is nothing new to me, something different. So her being upset with Kathy in this first episode means nothing to me, is what I'm telling you.
No, I know, but it is to let us in. State of the Union.
But I'm saying her story going forward,
Sure.
I'm more interested in the independence with Mauricio. I think the Kathy
Absolutely.
stuff's going to die off because Kathy's not in this season, right? We know that. So I think that the fire will burn out on that pretty soon.
I meant to mention this a second ago. Kyle has a penchant for codependency with friendships. If she finds somebody she latches on, Dorit, she latches on.
Yeah, Lisa.
Teddy latches on. Lisa latches on. So it's not surprising to me whether you think that they're dating or not. Latched on to Morgan, latches on to this person, and I think that she can have a proclivity to kind of take on those certain types of characteristics. Her and Teddy
Yeah.
doing all the same things together.
Therapy.
She's married to a Mexican. I'm married to a Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
She wants therapy. I want therapy. Remember? The both
Teddy
of them.
kind of idolized her, though. I think that's why she really liked Teddy, too.
My mom was like
Single
your
white
mom.
female.
They were both. They felt like they had the same background.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
I mean, Kyle is enabled by the friendships. Maybe not so much Lisa Vanderpump, but Lisa Vanderpump, she was always the underling, right? She always did whatever Lisa wanted her to do. Dorit's enabler.
I think
Teddy-
Dorit holds her feet to the fire.
You think she does?
I think Dorit calls her out. Here's what I'll say. Do I think that she, in the last couple of seasons, has given Kyle a pass in certain circumstances? Yes. But they call each other out.
Okay.
I'd argue that Dorit's probably one of the only people that Kyle really calls out in that way, and vice versa.
All right.
Because that was Dorit's problem. She treats Teddy differently than I'm treated as a friend. Teddy gets a pass. I don't.
Well, yeah, they're
That's
the
what I mean.
enabling couple.
Correct.
Teddy and Kyle Mellencamp.
I don't think that it's intentional to always hold each other's feet to the fire, but I do think it's kind of a hallmark of their friendship, which has caused conflict. Conflict.
Whatever. So they ate their salad and
Guys, PTSD. Dorit has had a really hard year. I kind of feel a little bad that we teased the robbery the way that we did. But here's the thing. Our assertions of what we think happened in the robbery are still not necessarily wrong, but I feel bad that I gave Dorit a hard time last season.
well,
when
for
we
those
were
for those that don't know,
recapping.
and I'll speak for myself. I'm not going to take Lauren down with
Thank
me.
you.
but
Because you've been taking me down all fucking episode. Okay? Taking me down.
Last season when the robbery happened, I said, scam. And I still believe it was a scam. I think
Sure.
everything about that seemed very fake, very fraud. And, if we know anything about PK, what's his last name?
Kemsley.
Kemsley. The Kemsleys. Guys, they're kind of scam artists. They're like sketchy and
But I
whatever.
think he is. I think it's less of
But
Dorit.
what Lauren mentioned earlier, and this was like a couple weeks ago, she was like, I actually been thinking about it differently because I really thought that Dorit was in on it, which is why I kind of scoffed at it last season, and why maybe we got one session of the therapy and no other session of the therapy because I was like, Dorit's fine. But what Lauren said, which maybe I could wrap my head around a little bit more, is that maybe not that PK was in on it, but that it's PK's debt to settle and he maybe knew something was happening and
Or he didn't know, but
And it
after the
was-
fact, he's like, ooh, I wonder if this
it was a real situation, even though PK kind of knew that maybe something unsavory was happening, but Dorit did not know.
correct.
So then Dorit's PTSD is very real, even though the robbery and everything we know about it seemed very, very fake.
Well, I mean, let's just
My phone in the bushes.
guys, it's a probability thing. What's the probability that the two of them have experienced 3 burglaries in the last 5 years?
Correct.
And the flood,
and
and
the
the this, and the
flood.
that.
Yeah, it's all insurance stuff. You know what I mean? It's like at some point you gotta start counting it, guys.
She bought the
homeless,
house.
homeless, not toothless. And what do we see? We see PK getting new teeth. Okay, so it's like everything they do is kind of a little bit of a fraud.
Yeah.
But I do want to put more of that on PK because Dorit's my queen and I love her.
Ugh, I love Dorit. I just want her to get out.
So chic.
So chic. Well, PK's been in London.
Yeah.
And,
With Boy George.
with Boy George. And Dorit's been left to kind of fend for herself, which I think was what was hard for her because of the PTSD.
Yeah.
Right? She feels disconnected to the point where has had the thought of, are we going to make it? Are
Yeah.
PK and I going to make it?
Yeah.
Kyle comforts her and letting her know. Because no one comforted Kyle. So she wants to extend the comforting olive branch. It's okay. Every relationship,
I felt that.
we've all felt that. I mean, I do think that it is a totally normal
No,
feeling to have.
I thought it was a fine moment.
It's like when parents internally are like, why the fuck did I have kids? But they're afraid to say that out aloud because they don't want people to misconstrue that as
They hate their kids.
They hate their kids.
Yeah.
Guys, it's totally okay to go, what the fuck am I thinking?
Yeah.
Am I going to be with this person? I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
But Dorit feels kind of bad about it. I don't know why.
Well,
Do you think that she thinks that she's not being loyal to the relationship if she
I
feels
think
this way?
I think you have kids with him, and if you think about it, they've only been married what, maybe 12 years or something. Like it's. I mean, that's.
Oh, not even.
Oh, okay, so shorter than that, like
I want
8 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's still a substantial amount of time, but I think there's aspect you have kids, you've built a life together, and you're on TV. It's a sense of failure, and because it's Dorit, she's trying to understand her fault and where we could have done better. Like, is it my fault? Is it what I went through? He doesn't understand. Like, I know he's gone all the time, but could I put forth more effort? Because the truth of the matter is we only have control over ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think what she's trying to do is check off the list of things, making sure she's doing everything in her ability she can to make sure this stays afloat.
Because she does
the
say that
relationship.
I think part of the reason why it's confusing is because she can't tether it or like thread it through an incident. Like he didn't cheat, he didn't do
Right,
it.
that's what
So
she was
she's like, yeah.
It's been a hard year. I have this PTSD, but yeah, no one's seen anyone else. No one's doing anything like this. So it's hard. We don't have a specific event that we can blame. And sometimes that is hard. Sometimes it's just not
hard.
working.
Yeah.
And sometimes you marry someone who's a con artist, and that doesn't work either. And not a very good one. So, Dorit, baby, we love you. Get out.
We love you.
Get out. We are Dorit fans.
Stop,
here.
drop, and roll.
That
Make
wind
it out
chime
live.
is so chic. My icon. Where are we now?
Garcelle,
The beach.
yeah, and her sons. They're driving, or I think he's driving, right?
No, she's driving.
Oh,
but I
she's
thought it was
driving.
so cute because they have to pull over and get gas.
That's what it is.
And the
okay.
sons, I don't know what they don't do rock paper scissors, but they do something to figure out who's gonna have to pump. Who's gonna have to pump the gas?
Pump and dump. Every time when you said
Pump and
pump, all I could think about was breastfeeding.
I know, the pump. Yeah. Who's gonna have to pump the gas? And then Garcelle's like, look, you can pull it up and like a trigger's there and it'll hold it. And he's like, there's gas. I spilled gas. There's gas on the ground. Garcelle's like, it's fine.
Just don't let it match.
I love that. I actually really liked this scene.
I did too. I thought it was really interesting. So I guess Garcelle's been working in Atlanta and she's been flying back and forth. But I think what she was saying is the longest she's been gone, or, right? It was
3
2
weeks.
Yeah.
She said 3 weeks. And he goes, it was a year.
He's like, well, she's like, no, it was 3 weeks. Which is still a long time, especially if you're accustomed to having your mom. To me,
Well,
even though they're kind of a little averse to her being such a mom and like trying to hover, but at the same time, it's a testament to how great of a mother she is.
yeah.
I think.
So I was watching this with my sister. My sister has 2 kids, and she's divorced. She also shares custody. And she laughed out loud in that moment when Garcelle was like, I've been gone for 3 weeks. And the son's like, no, it was a year. She's like, no, it was 3 weeks. And she's like, oh my God, that's something my kids would say. Because like the idea of time and like, just like stamping on, like, it felt like a really fucking long time when really it wasn't as long as what you
That's
think
what I
it
mean.
was.
I think that they're so connected to her. It's more of a testament of like how
Involved she is.
is, because they think it's a year.
But then we get the dagger.
Well, yeah, because she wants to know how they're feeling, and she thinks it's important for them to vocalize.
Well, okay, I have this I feel a little weird about.
Okay.
Okay, now Garcelle's my number one. Garcelle's the woman that I love the most on the show, and I mean, I stand by that. I don't know how I felt with her being like, y'all should have asked me to stay. Now, I don't know if I would have stayed, but because I have to work, vocalize. It would have been nice for you to tell me that you wanted me to stay. You don't need to put that on your children. You don't need your kids to be telling you they want you to stay. And even you vocalizing in that moment, I don't know that I would have stayed, but it would have been nice to hear if I needed to stay to see where you were at. I thought that was I didn't know if I liked that.
We didn't land this. We did not land the plane. What I think she was trying to say was that here's the reality. I am going to work. I'm going to continue to work. I have to work, right?
Yeah.
My work is going to take me elsewhere.
Right.
I'm going to be gone for stretches of time.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too long. Maybe, and no longer than 3
3
weeks
weeks.
or a month,
Yeah.
right? But I think what she's trying to say is that, like, but it's still important for you to tell me how you're feeling about it, regardless of whether or not I'm choosing to work. Because if she knows that, then she can implement, or she can be pragmatic and mitigate their feelings on it. Maybe she'll, do X, Y, and Z here to make up for how they feel with her being gone.
Yeah.
She's not laying the plane.
Yeah. Or like, if I knew that this was really hard for you, maybe this next project that comes up, I'm going to turn them down.
Correct.
Right. I agree with you that like,
But it
I
was
could
weird.
understand how, like, what she meant, how she said it, like putting the onus on them to be like, no, mom, don't go. But then be like,
But I'm
even
gonna go
But
anyway.
even if you tell me don't go, I might go. I'm like, okay, Garcelle, this
It
is
doesn't really
not-
feel like her. I'm going to give her a little bit more
no,
benefit
it
of the
didn't.
doubt.
It
Because
did not, no, it did not feel like her.
because her personality is, I mean, she's having this conversation with them.
Yeah.
And yes, the
Well,
dagger.
look at them. I mean, other than the kid laying on the sand saying, I miss Ashlyn. He's totally disconnected. He's not listening to anything. The other one's name is Jade.
Jade and Jax.
Jade and Jax. Okay,
So
so
Jade's
Jax,
laying down.
oh,
Jax is
Jax is the one that, okay.
Correct.
Well, look at Jax. Like, look how mature he is and, like, having this conversation. I think that's a testament to the men
Her.
that she raised.
Yeah,
she and
and
her
their
ex-husband.
father, yeah.
Because we know that they have a good
do.
co-parenting relationship.
They do.
But yeah, this scene was interesting, but I will say that
I mean, the knife through the heart.
oh God, I needed that 2 years ago. She goes, I feel like you don't let me parent you. Well, I needed that 2 years ago. I don't need that now.
But also, what do you mean you don't let me parent you? It's your, like,
I don't know. Again, that's another thing.
My
like,
kids.
let me
they
allow
won't,
me.
they won't let me parent. So I'm a
allow
bad
me to
parent.
ground you.
I'm a bad parent. because they won't let
Allow
parent.
me to hang out. Allow me to set rules for you. Just set the rules, baby. Set the rules and ground. You know what I mean?
I think what she's really, again, I think what she's really saying is
The subcontext.
they're getting older.
Yeah.
And you won't let me baby you. You won't let me
Yeah,
coddle
yeah,
you. You
yeah.
won't let me.
Well, and if she has, which I'm sure she does as a working mother, if she has guilt being away from them for a long amount of time, like she wants to come back and make sure that she has a presence in their life.
Yeah.
You know, that she's involved. And I think maybe she's starting to feel like they are growing up. They have their own life. They can do things on their own, even though Jax is like, I need more freedom. She's like, I think you have enough freedom. He's like, no, I need more.
Well, also, weren't they talking about dad's house and their friends aren't around?
I think
and
so,
getting
yeah.
stuck there.
Yeah. They didn't want to be with dad for like a year.
No,
She's
but
like, it's
doesn't.
not going to be a year.
But who doesn't one of them suggest that they want to live with their dad?
It's confusing because the
I know.
subtitle or
So
whatever.
it's Jade, and they're twins.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jade wants to go and live.
I think so.
With his father.
Ashlyn, let me carve her name into a stick.
That's right. He has a girlfriend. He's obsessed.
And she goes, oh, God. I thought that was funny.
I feel bad. Garcelle feels like a failure of a parent.
Ugh,
I don't want her
Garcelle,
to
you're
feel
not.
that way. She's not a failure.
I mean, we're not parents, but I feel like that's probably inevitable, right? Especially if you're a good
I think
parent.
every parent feels that way.
Like, you can't do it all. And I think, especially hearing that from your son, I needed you 2 years ago. I don't need you now, which is kind of a dagger to the heart. Like, I can understand how she feels that way, but no, she's not a fucking failure. She's a
of
boss,
course not.
badass woman.
She's successful even in just this conversation.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about Garcelle, and people can take it how they want, but because I know people will be like, this was a conversation on camera. The thing about Garcelle and the Sons is this felt very natural to me. Is this the first
Oh,
time
it
they've
felt-
talked about this? Probably not, but right here in this moment,
But it kind of felt like it
felt
was.
really very raw, very real.
See, I felt like it was the first time they were
Well, maybe
really
it
talking
is
in a
but-
real
but-
way.
But not in. But I just mean like they've had similar
Yes,
conversations.
I'm
like
sure that
this,
they
you
had
know what I
mentioned
mean?
things here and
Yes.
there, but this was more in depth
Yeah,
as opposed to in passing.
I just love her. I just love that woman.
Me too.
And the boys seem very mature and they seem funny. Like that gas part, I thought was funny. I thought that was really cute. And they love each other. It's just I'm into this family.
And mature in a way that doesn't feel like they are taking on too many responsibilities as kids. They're
Right.
just
They're just living.
I don't know. They feel adjusted. Like they're very open.
They're carving their girlfriend's name into a stick. Like that to me is like a very teenage thing to do. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Ashlyn.
it is. It's cute.
I miss Ashlyn. And I love when Garcelle's like, oh dear God.
Let it go.
I just
What is it? What is Shannon Storm's Bedord? Dear God.
No, she goes,
What is it?
honest to God, David.
Honest to God. What are you drinking there?
Honest to God,
A quad
David.
shot of tequila. Honest to God, David. Honest to God. I miss her a little bit.
Oh God, I kind of do too. Okay.
Guys, we're in Encino. Kyle and Mo at home
Mo's on the phone. Work.
with his assistant Jane.
In some weird cardigan he's wearing.
Guys,
What is he wearing?
I don't know. I thought the same thing. Okay, did you feel like basically throughout this scene consistently, Mo didn't know where he was and what he was talking about? He's like, I don't know. I didn't get the beats. I didn't get the story beats. What are we talking
Yeah, he
about?
didn't know the cameras were showing up. He's like, Kyle, I'm working. Honey, I'm working. So, Portugal.
Down.
Yeah.
She wants him off the phone.
I want you to lead this scene,
Okay.
okay? Because I really need to know your thoughts, your feelings. I want to know everything about what you thought about this scene, holistically.
I will say that I want to preface this by saying that I do think that there is an aspect where Mo really isn't around. He's very busy and she feels a little lonely. And I'm only going to say this because when I worked on $1 Million Listing, I worked with Mauricio because Mauricio, James, and David, who were on our show, they all work at the agency, obviously, right?
yeah.
So when we worked with him and he had showed up for a scene, he wasn't telling us that he had to be somewhere, but he wasn't really expressing urgency. Well, then we find out after the fact that he is very, very, very late to meet Kyle for a meeting to get Portia into a private school. Like this is like a parent meeting to get them in. You know, you have to meet the dean or whatever.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. He just shoved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kyle, and she's like, I have to meet Kyle. Like I'm done, like the meeting already started, and I'm like,
Why didn't you tell us?
Legitimately, I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mo, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, because he definitely towards, him leaving, he was expressing urgency. I knew he had to be somewhere, but he didn't really explicitly express what time, how important it was until after the fact when he was fucking late.
I feel like he's the kind of guy that like puts his time last. Meaning, like, if he's showing up to business, he wants to make sure that everyone else's time is spent wisely, and he has to think about his personal stuff after his business stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's the kind of vibe I get.
But because I knew that he was meeting Kyle, and it was for Portia to get into a private school, that is serious. And I knew that Kyle was gonna be fucking pissed.
Well, but that
it's
shows the priorities right
Exactly.
there.
It's not to say that he chooses.
He's
like,
the
I'm only-
boss. He didn't feel enough confidence to go and be like, hey, guys, I got to be out by 3 p.m. Y'all would have said, yeah, got it. But instead, he didn't do
Here's
that.
the thing. He never misses an opportunity to expose, to show off the agency. He's always wearing a pin. He's always wearing a hat. He's
Yeah.
sports bra, underwear, whatever. So I do think that he takes a lot of pride in that. And I don't
Sure.
think that it's, I don't think that it's selfishly motivated. I do think that he's just like, he has a job to do. But I can understand why Kyle probably feels like a little lonely.
I just think it's priorities. I don't
Yeah.
think he's doing it on purpose. I
No.
think it's, I'm here, I'm doing this for, I think he has like blinders. When he's there, I think all he's thinking about is that moment, right? And then it's like, okay, this moment's over. Oh, God, I got to get to that meeting. Kyle.
Yeah.
And my child. Well, I really liked his computer. I thought his computer was really cool. It was that it was long, it was curved.
I see what you're saying. I
thought the computer was really cool. He was on the phone. He was multitasking.
They're trying to go to
talking
Portugal?
about Portugal.
Get off
and-
the phone.
Yep.
Where are we going,
Kyle's like,
Jane? Can I go to Coachella?
How much longer? How
I'm
much
not gonna,
longer?
I'm not going to be
Honey.
able to go to Coachella. I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. Did you see her face? And of course, guys, we never know how they edit things, but as it showed on the show, her face when he's like, "Oh, so I won't be able to go to Coachella second weekend." Kyle's face looked like, "What the fuck?
I believe it. I think that was something
What the
new that
fuck are
she
you
had just
doing?"
heard.
Yeah.
I really do. So yes, I will take over. I'll take the scene. It's my girl.
Take it,
It's my girl, Kyle.
baby, take it. It's
So
your woman.
we hear from Kyle in the confessional that it's been a tough year.
It's a tough road.
She's fit.
You look good, honey.
Mo wants to know if she's going to work out. She works out all the time.
You're eating well. You're working out around the clock. You look good, honey.
It's
What
an
does he call her?
outlet.
Love bean.
Love being.
God, I've never seen her call it ever that.
So only recently did I catch that they were calling each other that in an episode,
Really?
but it's not consistent.
Yeah,
I think
seems
it's just kind of
totally
something
weird.
that's really like a pet name between the two of them.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I think Mauricio can feel the shift. I think that he's
Kyle.
overcompensating. Not overcompensating. Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's trying to overcompensate. The love
Okay.
being, the you look good. What are you doing? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And she just is not having any part of it. She doesn't care. Did you feel that?
Well,
she was like, cool.
she does feel very checked out. In a
Right?
sense that I've never seen Kyle
I've
ever
never.
before.
She-
Ever. And
like-
we've seen them give each other hard times. We've seen each other like poke at each other and kind of be, I don't know, like self-deprecating, but like never ever like this.
Here's what I'll say. Kyle does not need to tell us that she feels disconnected
No, she doesn't.
because we see
She's
it.
an actor, so
Like,
she
do you
needs to
feel
tell
like
us.
their conversations? It's not that they're superficial, but it just feels like he feels like he's there. She feels like she's not there, which is why I was able to kind of come to the conclusion that she had to have been the one to ask for the separation.
yeah.
And then she says it in Watch What Happens Live, so I
Yeah.
felt validated. But it just, I was like, oh, she definitely is the one that did this because he feels like he's there. You look hot, you look good, da, 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 da. She does not feel there.
Again, I don't. Okay, well, actually, forget about it. I'm just gonna speculate.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is a podcast. We don't know anything. I'm going to speculate that she and Morgan have something going on.
Okay.
Okay. We don't know that. This is what I'm gonna do for this argument's sake.
Okay.
I think, and maybe it's just emotional.
You're going to entertain it.
Maybe nothing physical is happening. Maybe it's emotional. Maybe Kyle doesn't even really realize what's happening.
That's
right?
what I think is going on, if I'm being
But
honest.
Kyle is feeling like rejuvenated. Okay, she's feeling a spark.
Pumped.
She's pumped up. She's excited. Like Mauricio's not lighting the fire. She's getting lit somewhere else. Okay.
You think
all I-
so?
Like I said, maybe it's not physical. Maybe it's like emotional, and she's like feeling things, and she's like excited. This is another reason why I think like the no drinking and taking care of herself. I don't mean this rudely to Mauricio, but like I don't think she's doing this being like I'm gonna look hot for Mauricio. I think she's excited. She's kind of entertaining somebody else, and things feel fresh and anew, and she wants to look fucking hot. And so I think in this weird, honestly, this whole vibe I got this last scene was so fucking awkward.
so
It was a
awkward.
miss on everything. Mauricio was awkward. Like, oh,
He's like,
you
"What?
have
Huh?"
you have tattoos, vibe. What?
He just looks
I
like-
forbid it. I'm like, what's happening
that was
here?
another thing.
Not forbid, but like I won't allow it. And she's like, my body. I'm
My
just
body,
like,
my choice.
what? It was really fucking weird. But I do get a sense of Kyle that like it's like when you like let's just pretend like you work in an office and like you have an office crush, right? Maybe nothing's going on, but don't you want to look hot for your office crush? Like,
Yeah.
don't you want to walk past the hall and have them like check you out? That
Even if
to
you're not
me
gonna
is a-
act on it.
right? That to me is kind of more of what's going on. Whether we don't know, guys, right? But I think there's a newness in Kyle that we have not seen in 13 years.
No.
So I think that we're seeing that, and I think she's fucking fed up. I think she's like, my body, my choice. I'll get as many tattoos as I want.
Well,
I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
He notices the moon and star tattoos on her ankle.
Yeah.
So how many do you have now?
5.
Now, he asks, I think he's asking a little bit more rhetorically, but she answers, he thought How many tattoos did he think that she had?
3.
3. And she has
Yeah.
how many? 6?
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't.
Here's what I'll say. I do not think that Mo is inherently a controlling person. I
No,
don't think
no,
that
no.
Mo actually gives a flying fuck about the tattoos. I think Mo feels
It's principle.
that he's
losing her.
losing her.
He's losing.
So
Yeah.
he's trying to grasp at anything. You know, like when
Yeah.
you feel like somebody's breaking up with you, what do? You call all the time. You're smother.
Yeah.
Even though that's like the worst thing you could
Yeah.
do. If you want to try to
But
make it
you're
work,
so
you need to
afraid.
give that person
Yeah.
space. And he's like, you can't do that. I don't want you to have to do it. What is it? You need to be pure. I love it. He doesn't actually, that's not his actual
No.
ideology. I think that he feels the shift and he feels her slipping. He does.
And he's getting freaked out.
Yeah. Well, he would know if you looked at my body closer. That says all I need to know. By the way,
body.
Exactly.
What do you always say? Oh, my body.
Jim Spy, baby.
My
Like
body.
Yeah. Anna Nicole Smith, guys. That's Anna
Not an
Nicole.
inside joke.
Anna Nicole. Okay. In a weird way, obviously she's making a joke,
Yeah.
but it also is a testament to
They're
when
not
was
having
the la-
sex.
Correct. Or here's what I'll say: if they're not having sex, whatever. He's not seeing
He's
her
not
naked.
noticing her.
He's not there.
He's not, even if they are having sex, it's like autopilot.
Yes.
They're not even looking at each other. She says, I remember when Mo would notice that I had a freckle.
It was fricker. A mother fricker.
I want to fuck her.
He would know that I was a mother fricker.
I mean, now he doesn't notice anything, right? So I think, and I'm fighting against my urge because everything I think Kyle does is a little performative. So I'm fighting against my urge in this moment to be like, okay, Kyle's kind of playing this up for the cameras. I want to set that aside for Lauren, and for the sake that I think that this actually is really happening. There's authenticity that this is. There's an issue.
Everything felt real in the scene.
So I
legitimately
just-
did not think that he knew how many tattoos
It
she
felt
has.
real, y'all, because it felt so fucking awkward.
Yeah.
And like, if anything, if Kyle and Mauricio, they could come together. They've been on the show for so fucking
They can
long.
put it on.
They could put it on. They really could.
Because
As much as I make fun of her not being a good actress, she could do stuff like this.
Because they've put it on before.
Oh, every season. So
Fuck up. I'm done.
so
I'm done with your ass.
It felt so fucking weird, which is how I knew that it kind of was real, because they seemed fucking like all over the place. They didn't, especially Mauricio. Like, Kyle seemed giddy and weird as fuck. Mauricio seemed like he was confused.
He
was like,
reaction.
"Oh,
Every time they cut to his reaction, he looked like he
was
didn't
like
know what
baffled.
planet he was
He
on.
was baffled.
He kind of looked like he did
I'm working,
at
honey.
Camille's wedding when he's high
Oh,
as
when
fuck.
he's yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Well,
Well, guys, vote for Mauricio on Dancing with the Stars. Let's see if we can
Yes.
get him to the top 7 or something. I don't even know how many people are left.
God.
I watched
mean,
it like 2 weeks after the fact, so I don't even know.
I watched Mo and Ariana in the first episode, and that was it.
I've seen 3. I've seen 3 episodes.
It's too long. Broadcast shows, too long.
Oh, well, I fast
Way too
forwarded. I
long.
told you. I watched it in like 30 minutes.
I know, but it even takes a long time to fast forward.
Well, yeah, well.
Well, guys, Kyle feels like she's a new person. Now, we said that, but she's actually expressing
She went to
this.
the retreat. She's new. Guys, Kyle's the only person in franchise history that actually went to a retreat and came back different.
She did.
Came back anew.
Yeah, she went to All In.
Well, let me ask you this, since I
Okay.
kind of gave my opinion. What do you think with Morgan Wade? Do you think that like there is anything going on? Do you think it might just be like an intense friendship? Like in regards to Kyle feeling like she is anew and she's kind of disconnected and she's getting in touch with her body. How much of that do you think has to do with Morgan Wade? Just maybe has to do with Kyle? What's your take?
I think it's twofold. I think it has to do with herself, and I also think it has to do with Morgan. I think that when you're hanging out with somebody like this, even as a friend, things become a creature of habit. I don't necessarily think that she was like, I'm going to go on this journey. I think she wanted to work out. Morgan works out, and Morgan works out a lot. So she just had a reason to start doing it more. Similarly to when you have a workout partner, it keeps you accountable, right?
Yeah.
So then she started working out more than I think she anticipated. Then she liked it. Then she kept up with it. It became routine.
Yeah.
Do I think that they have been together? I gotta be honest, I think that she has more of like a crush. I don't think that she even
Like an infatuation or like a...
I think it's almost like I would almost liken it to, for instance, when women will come out, when they're older.
Yeah.
And you talk to them about like, when did you really realize that you were different or that you may be, like women, whatever.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they'll say like, I didn't know, But if I look back in hindsight,
It was clear.
it was clear. Like these people that I was so attached to, these friends of mine, I may have not recognized it as having feelings, but I can look back and say, oh my God, I was really attached. So
Yeah.
when something happens, right, there's a fallout or there's a problem, it's very
Yeah.
devastating.
Yeah.
And you don't understand why, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think is more going on here.
Okay.
I don't think that Kyle's like void of understanding like who she is, but I don't, because I feel bad saying like she doesn't recognize, but I do think that there's an attachment there. And I'm curious to see where this goes because I
I am
think
too.
because I do think that there's an element here where I think she'll find herself being like maybe I do like her.
Yeah.
Because I think
Gradually.
because I think the feelings that she felt on Watch What Happens Live were real about seeing Mo holding hands. But not because Mo has a new romantic partner, because it's weird seeing the person, whether you like them or not, or you're still in love with them, it's weird seeing that person with other people.
Yeah.
Even if you're the one that is
one that
essentially
initiated
implement.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah,
that's what
I
I
get
think
that.
is more going on here.
Okay.
Because she's on a journey, self-discovery.
She's on the climb with Miley Cyrus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say that if Kyle's going through a midlife crisis, this is probably what it is. But midlife is kind of synonymous or like with
Maybe
like she's going crazy, but I don't think
maybe she's
that.
coming into herself is what's happening.
Yeah, and she's also, guys, she was a young mom. So she's still very young and her kids are already out of school essentially. So it really allows you to feel
It is true. She had Farrah, what, like at 19, 20? Yeah.
And Kyle's only what, 53? All the kids are out of the
Wow.
house essentially. So it's
You
a new lease
know-
on life. When you're in your early 50s, it's when you start to realize like, I still feel really
Kyle,
young, da 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 da. You know what I mean?
Let your freak flag fly, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Let it. Because you're right. She has had. She has.
Alison Dubois said it.
What?
He will never emotionally fulfill you.
Oh, yeah. Well, touche.
Well, guys, Kyle's not taking shit anymore. Again, she reminds us, the audience at home. With Kathy, with everything, she's realized, I'm not taking anyone's shit anymore. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. If I want another tattoo, I will get another
a tattoo.
Yeah.
Kudos, baby. Way to stand your ground.
But she's not doing it to be rebellious.
That,
I'm not rebelling, I'm clear. Going
oh,
clear.
this is the clear
That's
part.
what I'm saying. That's
I'm
what I think
clear.
that she means. That's what I think she means.
Well, but also Mauricio's point was so weird. He's like, do it if you want to do it, but don't do it just to be rebellious. It's like, what? She's gonna.
He doesn't know who his wife is anymore. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
probably
he's like,
true.
who is Kyle?
And guys, listen, and Lauren's kind of said this too, like nobody really knows, but like it's been understood that Mauricio's probably had lots of little rendezvous,
Yeah.
Thank you, here and there.
Dalliance.
So I think for him, it's probably shocking because nothing really in his life has changed, but she's changed. And that's scaring him.
Yeah.
Because he, at the end of the day, I think has always been a family guy. He's never probably thought he was going to get divorced or separated or whatever.
Yes.
And like we said earlier in this episode, like I wouldn't be surprised if they don't ever actually get legally divorced. I wouldn't be
No.
surprised at all. But maybe they'll live separate lives and maybe
guys,
they'll be okay.
I'm not excusing cheating, but I do think that it's circumstantial. And at
Oh,
times
I
I
think
think it's
so,
very nuanced. I think some people cheat because they don't want to be in the relationship. And I think some people are just not monogamous like that, but they want their family. Like they're in love with their wife, but sometimes
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's all well and good. To me, it's the transparency. Don't lie about it. Be honest, and I don't know. Some people are okay with that. Some people are okay with having
Well,
open situations.
We see it in the Super Teas. So I hear you're having an affair, and she's like, "Yeah, for the first time, it's not."
Oh yeah, he's like, for the first time, it's not you,
Yeah,
or it's not me, or I don't know what he says.
I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I don't think that she was unaware. I think that for her, it was don't make an embarrassment.
Don't embarrass me.
Don't
yeah.
make an embarrassment out of me. And there were several times throughout the years where things would come up. Lisa fucking Vanderpump in the tabloids. So that's why you get the rumor that you've been seen with younger women. Fucking Portia. And that's kind of what starts the downfall of that season for the two of them.
Yeah.
She planted it.
Oh my god.
Guys, thank you for joining
Guys.
us. This was a long
This
one.
is gonna be a long season, and we hope you're here for it.
I'm sorry this episode's long.
Yeah.
It's really just because we're
It's just
getting
the kickoff, guys.
We're
It's just the
kickoff. We're getting our feelings out.
Yeah.
Like Kyle, we're going clear. We're not rebelling. We're going clear.
We're clear.
We're clear.
Clear as full hearts. Can't
lose.
lose, baby.
Guys,
That was
thank you
Friday
for
Night
joining
Lights,
us.
by the way.
Shut the fuck up. Guys, thank you
Guys,
for
just don't
joining
know.
us. We
Yes.
appreciate your listenership. And
We
as
do.
always, please do not forget to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you haven't yet, give us a rating, give us a review. I appreciate it.
Give us some stars. Stars on
I'm trying
Mars.
to get our rating higher.
Yeah, 4.7 or 4.6.
We dropped because we go off on tangents and we interrupt each other. It's a real thing.
We are people.
I'm not denying that it doesn't happen, but people are people. So
People, let us live. We are Kyle.
let us live. Okay, long live 5 tattoos. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us. Oh, and donate a cocktail.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Happy
Later.
Halloween.